The tier list that we'll be doing today is level 220 boss mule tier list. Now, the reason why we're doing this one is because it has been 10 months since the last time we did this. 10 months. And last time we did it. It did really, really well. It seems like you guys really enjoyed this. Not only that, it's been 10 months. There has been a lot of balance changes since then, and the nodes have changed since then as well. So a lot of classes that we might have put pretty down low over here, like for example Corsair, because it has a really high node requirement and wasn't the strongest thing ever, would be a lot higher now. So this tier list is probably going to look pretty different than what it used to be. And we have like Aran remaster, stuff like that. So this is going to be a level 220 tier list for boss mules in 2024 and 2025. And I'm joined here by Santo, maybe Phil later. Obviously make sure to check out his stuff linked below. Good, now that we need like 25 mules to cap. Yes, so not only are there boss crystal changes now, where you need 14 boss mules to cap instead of 12, the boss mules have changed because of the meta, and you can craft your own nodes. So classes that require a lot of nodes, like trios, are less bad to make now. Also, on top of that, you get more node slots as well. So like, a lot has changed since the last video, so I think it's appropriate to make a new one. So I'm gonna change these tiers to like OPAF. Like this is a Giga OP boss mule. Very good. Gets job done. And then like unoptimal. That's what I'm doing for the tiers. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about is we're gonna be doing it in alphabetical order. Obviously, there's gonna be timestamps below if you want it. This video is going to be uploaded tomorrow as well. So for those who are unable to watch the whole thing, it'll be uploaded tomorrow. So you have nothing to worry about. What does boss mules stand for? So boss mules on this game, if you have no idea, basically you create multiple characters on your account that could do bosses for you. The bosses drop crystals that you can sell for a lot of mesos, and you could use the mesos for whatever you want. So it's a really, really good way to get a lot of mesos on your account. Even though boss crystals got nerfed, it's still a good way to get a lot of mesos on your account. It's still efficient to make boss mules when you're later into the game. All right, let me pop my coupons. All right, the first boss mule that we're going to talk about, it's actually a boss mule that both me and Tummy have, is Angelic Buster. So Angelic Buster also got revamped not too long ago. Wait, actually, now that I think about it, since last video, I think we have the AB remaster. It wasn't even in there in the last video. But because of the AB remaster, we have AB at a 1-minute burst timer, which is insanely strong for boss muling. It means you are bursting very frequently, and the AB burst is really strong too. Yes, Mighty Mascot did get nerfed, but his burst is still good. That's just one part of its burst. It's not the whole burst. So the other thing that you'll notice in this video is probably the 1-minute burst classes are like very high value. So something like AB would definitely be like an OP AF boss mule. Not only are that, so its nodes were actually, in terms of nodes, it's actually one of the slightly harder ones because there's a bunch of skills. But since you can craft your skills now too, like the nodes are brain dead. You could also go even just one trio if you want to be extra cheap. You could go like Trinity, Soulseeker, and Supernova if you want. But even if you want to craft both sets, it's not even like that troll to do. The other thing about AB or boss mules in general is you don't even have to train them to 220 these days because of how many event resources you get with Golden Strawberry, XP vouchers, extreme growth potions, all that stuff. So the training aspect is not even going to be really relevant for this tier list anyways, because you don't even train boss mules these days. You just get event resources and then they naturally get to 220. So I think because AB has 1-minute burst, has a very good 2-minute burst as well, it's definitely OPAF. The only drawback I would say to Angelic Buster is you need attack speed inner. So you would have to fund it a little bit more than some other classes. But that's definitely worth the investment for getting this boss mule. I think it's one of the highest recommended ones I would do personally.
Yeah, I think AB is a really good choice as a boss meal and also as a main. But on top of that, one of like the annoying things about AB is that it's a pirate, so that means you use it's called overdrive, I think.
Yeah, overdrive.
And that skill is heavily dependent, like the performance in that skill is heavily dependent on what level it's at. Like if it's low level overdrive, I'm not even sure if it's even worth using.
And the weapon attack. You don't have like an arcane weapon or anything, so it's like ass. It's unoptimal.
Yeah, it's. I'm actually not even sure if it's even worth using, unless it's maxed.
Yeah, that's definitely
Which is
good
like
to mention.
It's a heavy investment, but I feel like you probably don't even. It's one of those things where it's like if you can afford to max it, then it'll make your experience as a AP boss meal even better. But if you don't have it, it's like it's still gonna be a solid boss meal to have.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Even if you... Oh, the other thing is AB has its own AB link too. So something as small as like your link skills, like it's very convenient. You also got double the buff because you're the AB or AB link, so it's really nice. You can also reset AB link with the Grandis. Oh, actually, Grandis being on a 2-minute cooldown is another thing that has changed since last time. AB gets like huge value out of that. Grandis every 2 minutes. That's
Not
crazy.
really.
Really? I thought
It's
it was 4
35
minutes
damage. Yeah, it was 4 minutes before, but what you get when you're using it is 35 damage, and then you have a chance to skip. But the only thing you really skip that's quote unquote important is honestly it's just the iframe. I don't remember what it's called.
The spinny.
Yeah, the spinning iframe. That's like that's like the best thing you can skip. Skipping AB Link actually isn't even that great because you would basically need to skip it a third time. Like the third time you use it, it needs to be skipped, otherwise it's useless because it'll just desync your AB Link from your mascot that you'll be using every minute anyway.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. That makes sense.
So like, yeah, there are times where when I'm playing my AB boss meal, I don't even bother like if my AB Link skipped, I don't even bother like trying to skip it again. Because I'll just desync for my dragon. But
Yo, thank you, Mystically. Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. I just thought about it like it would come up every burst rotation. That's it.
yeah, it's definitely nice. It's better now than before, but it's like not that in crazy value compared to other classes. But back to that point about overdrive, I'm not sure how to like really put a priority on that skill. I feel like it's all or nothing type of skill where you only use it if it's max. If you don't, then don't bother leveling. It's kind of a weird skill when it comes to boss meals. But again, like even without it, it's a really solid class.
That's good though, because that means you could save nodes. Okay, that's good. All right, next one is Adele. So I actually have an Adele boss meal, and for me, just off the dome, I would put it and gets the job done. Like I actually don't really super recommend it. Like it's fine. The thing about Adele that makes it like not super great in my opinion is you have to kind of sweat on this class to get like optimal damage output. If you're not playing the class properly and you don't know exactly what you're doing, the damage is not going to feel that great. It has good cooldowns on its skills, like Rain of Destruction, the summon with the orange swords. Like it's a very low cooldown skill, so like if you're really strong, if you have like an overfunded Adele, that's gonna feel good at just killing bosses. But you know, that means you have to get really overfunded for it to be really good. You have Ruin, which is I think a 1-minute cooldown, which is really good for bossing as well. And then you have your big burst every 3 minutes, which obviously is good, but it's a 3-minute cooldown. There's also like micromanaging in the class. It did get some quality of life so that you don't have to like stack your Resonance Rush 2 times. You only have to do it 1 time now, which obviously is good, but I don't think it's enough. It also didn't get any like big buffs this patch. I think it got like maybe 1 or 2 FD, which isn't that much. So I wouldn't really recommend it for most people. I think it's a little bit too complicated for just a boss meal. I think if you really like Adele, of course you can play it and you could get the job done with it. But there's so many better options, essentially. Like, it got power crept. That's, like, the best way I could think of it, is it got power crept in terms of boss meals. There's just way better options out there that I would personally recommend. So that's what I would do. Its nodes aren't hard. At the end of the day, you could craft the nodes. What are its V skills? It has Infinity, Ruin, Storm, and something else. I don't remember what the fourth V skill is.
Legacy?
Oh yeah, Legacy Restoration. Yeah. So all of its V seals are important. You can't skip any V seals on this class either. Whereas some other classes like Hero, for example, like you could skip World Reaver and you could save nodes. So it needs all the nodes too. So it's kind of like a node eater, and it's not the best class ever. So that's where I would put it personally.
I feel like I don't know where I would place Adele here. Either he gets the job done or unoptimal, but I definitely think Adele is one of those classes where, objectively speaking, it's not a good boss meal. I think it's one of those boss meals there. It's like you would only play it if you actually just really like the class. And one of the things to mention is I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to making a boss meal. It's more important to prioritize you having fun on that class because you're going to be playing it every single week.
Yeah.
And if you're picking a class that's objectively strong, but you don't actually enjoy playing it, then eventually your mood every week towards that boss meal is like, oh, I dread doing it. Like, I don't really have that much fun doing it. It's just strong. It gets me meso. Like, it's just you're not going to have like a positive attitude towards doing this, like playing this character every week. So it's important to pick a class that you actually enjoy playing. So even though we're saying that, oh, Adele's kind of like closer to unoptimal, but it gets the job done category in this tier list, if you like playing the class, that's the most important thing. Like, don't worry about it in terms of objectiveness of like, it requires more of this or more of that. It's more important that you actually enjoy playing it every week. Because then you'll be more, I guess, happier about playing that class every week, right? It wouldn't feel like a chore. It would be more like a task that you enjoy doing.
Yeah. That's really important to mention. I should have mentioned that at the start of the video. No matter what the conclusion of this tier list is, at the end of the day, you can play anything. And if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. That's the baseline.
But yeah, I would say I think Adele, for me personally, probably sits closer to unoptimal because of the things you said, where there is a lot of micromanaging. There is a lot of things that you have to just innately have to understand that you might not even, like, even from just reading the skills of this class, you might not even fully understand what it even means.
Yeah.
A lot of the skills that Adele has, they work together with other skills that exist. There's debuffs you have to apply. There's other skills that only work when your swords are flying out. There's just a lot of gears spinning.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts of this class.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and you're essentially putting in a lot more effort to not get like great results when you could play something way easier and get better results. Or if you want to play an effort class, there's ones that you could put effort and get even better results too. So it's a little weird.
Yeah, I would say where Adele is placed right now makes... We can argue it goes unoptimal or gets the job done.
Okay.
Where it is right now is like, I think it wouldn't go any higher.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Aran. So Aran recently got remastered. This is like, it plays pretty differently than before. You know about Aran more than me, and you have an Aran boss wheel. I don't have one. But from all the Aran mains that I talk to, they don't like this class anymore. Is that true, or like what's up with Aran?
I think the way that Aran mains feel about it now is the way that Dawn Warrior's mains felt about Dawn Warrior after the Ignition revamp. Basically, a lot of the skill expression on this class basically got removed. There's still skill expression in terms of like movement options, like your ability to like dodge things last second or maneuver or fancy movement and whatnot. But I think as a boss meal, I would say it's even better now than it was before. The reason why I say that is now this class is actually like a true 90-second class, and in the case of boss meals, 90-second classes are pretty good when it comes to boss meals because it just allows you to use your burst cooldowns more often. And considering that you're gonna be in C-Val, and after you kill C-Val, you're gonna be going into Von and Clown and Queen, right? Having your cooldowns up sooner, even though they're weaker as a result of it from its predecessor before the remaster, right? It ends up being better as a boss meal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The class also became a lot more simpler now. It's like super simple.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's a bit complicated is the up jump. It requires you to do 3 button inputs. Up
Really?
jump. Yeah. So
What the fuck? It's not like Ascension?
you have to do down and then up arrow and then attack.
To up jump, you have to press
To
down.
up jump, yes.
Dude,
Down,
that's
up
weird
arrow,
as
and then
fuck.
attack. Like in that succession. If you can keybind it, but if you do keybind it, it's like half the height.
Oh, interesting. What the fuck?
Oh, it's just up and attack now? Oh, okay. I guess they changed that. I swear it used to be like that's how it was before. Okay.
Interesting.
All good. It's been up and attack. Okay, never mind then.
Okay, all good.
I've just been pressing those inputs all this time then.
All good. That's why we do it with the chat, bro. All good.
But yeah, the key point is that if you were to keybind it, you get less height out of it. So having to do up arrow and attack might be a bit weird for people. That's like the only thing. And I think as a boss meal, I would say it's like, I wouldn't say it's OPAF, but I think it's pretty good.
I see. Okay. I'm okay with that. Does Aran have weird nodes or anything? Or like...
The most important skills that boost is Beyond Blade, Hunter's Prey, and Final Stand. Before you would boost Final Blow, but that skill doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh, that's pretty easy then. One set.
Yeah, just a set of 2, and you're good to go. Like, you can boost, like, Final Attack, but it's just, like, very, very, like, minimal value.
Does it have V skills that you don't need a level? Or all 4 are really good?
All are good. All are very good.
Okay. Alright, that's good then. I'm glad that Aran's a really good boss meal. It was a really good one before, too. Either way, so... It's still as good as a really strong boss meal.
You can skip Freud's. That one's, like, very, like...
Oh, I just meant, like, the V skills. The 4 class skills. Okay. Yeah, Freud's, you don't need that shit. Okay, I'm okay with that. Alright, we can move on to Arc. So Arc, I feel a little weird about it. So the first thing that comes to mind is Arc's 2-minute is really good. When you're on Infinity Spell, you know, Beast, Abyssal Recall, all that shit, Spectre mode, like it all feels really, really good. But I feel like off Spectre mode, this class does no damage. Like it just doesn't do anything. So I would say like it's good if like you know how to play it properly. You know how to play it, and you are okay with like maybe. The thing is, because it has a short burst cooldown, like you're not even waiting that long if you want to wait for your burst to come up. But you would just do like the really baby bosses off Spectre, and then whenever your Spectre and Infinity Spell is back up, you would do like the bigger bosses. So if you just space out your bosses properly, I think it could be really good. But if you just go from boss to boss to boss and like you're not thinking about the order, then this one definitely isn't optimal. Yeah, it's kind of like Nightlord, but not bad because Nightlord is 3-minute, where this is 2-minute. And Infinity Spell, I think it lasts for what, 40 or 50 seconds? Like, that's not bad. While that skill's up, you're still doing a lot of damage, shitting out a lot of dots. It does have Overload, which again is like not that important though. Yeah, it's got its own bind, which is really good. So you have your own bind and Urda Nova, so you could bind 2 bosses in a row. The other thing about Arc is it definitely is a class that you have to learn how to play and get used to, especially if you don't know how to stop yourself from moving whenever you use a skill, because a lot of Arc skills, it moves you, but if you combo them properly with your basic attack, then you won't move. So that's something you definitely have to learn. You should use your debuffs as well, at least. Most people might not be able to just combo consistently. You're just consistently comboing. If you just hold down your main attack, as long as you use your debuffs and not combo, it's still good damage, but obviously it's not as good as comboing. So you should definitely keep that in mind. For me, I think Arc is somewhere between very good and gets the job done, but I don't know which one it would be in. I'm leaning towards very good though.
I don't have an Arc boss meal, but Did you go over the goddess being 2 minutes?
Oh, no, I didn't mention that yet. Yeah, it has Goddess 2-minute, which is good for Arc.
Because that's a pretty big change.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's actually a good point, yeah. Now that it has 2-minute Goddess, it has that every single time it can burst.
It probably sits at very good. I don't think it's a gets the job done type of character.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Adele by like a good amount. I wouldn't put them at the same.
I don't actually, because I don't even remember playing my arc that much, but I know it has a gauge. Like, did you like? Is the gauge like annoying to manage as just a boss meal or like what?
No, it's not. The
Okay.
gauge is very straightforward. It's not like something you even manage. It just goes up and down. Like, you just have it, and then you turn it off once it's about to run out, and then by the time your burst is up, you'll have it again. It's like super easy.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think people are gonna know that you're supposed to turn off before it runs up, because if you don't turn it off, you get like a giga debuff, right?
Yeah. As long as you make sure you actually like physically turn it off, you'll be good. There's nothing to worry about. Thank you, Jai Crew. Gives you the biggest warning ever. Yeah, your screen starts like flashing and shit. Like, like your whole screen gives like a red border and it starts flashing. Like, you need to turn it off. So if you're thinking about playing Arc, just know that. Don't just let it deplete. You know when you did it wrong when your gauge just goes completely black. There's no design on it. It's just completely like blank and black. That means you did it wrong and you're like debuffed. Okay. I'm okay with that for Arc. Battle Mage. So Battle Mage does have good 90 second and it does have good 3-minute. It's not like a pure 3-minute. So obviously I feel like a lot of people will see this and be like, oh, the support got nerfed, so it's dog shit. I don't think it's dog shit though. Like, I think just like, yeah, its support got nerfed, obviously. It's not as strong as it used to be. But I still don't think it's dog shit. Because at the end of the day, like, your cooldown timings and like what your basically your cooldown timings and like stuff like that is more important than like how much of a damage you could do on your burst necessarily. Like, having really good cooldowns and good tools in your kit is very, very important. So I still think Battle Mage boss mule is really good. For me, I would put it in very good because it has a good 90 second, good 3-minute, has really good movement. It's not too hard to play either. Its nodes aren't complicated either. I don't know. It just feels like it feels like Aran. The way that you described Aran is the way I think of Battle Mage.
Okay. I do know that for BAM, you have to like place down like these turrets, and like if the boss moves away, you're just sad.
Oh, that's funny.
That is one thing about BAM.
Mm-hmm. There's like these 2 gates that you put in between the boss, or the boss is in between them.
Is it more than 2? Can't you put down like?
I thought it was 2.
Nah, I've definitely seen more than 2.
Okay. Oh, there's 4. Okay. You can put up to 4. Okay, I see.
Yeah, if you're playing a BAM boss mill, remember to turn on your toggles.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're losing out on a lot of damage.
I feel like a lot of that stuff is like, yeah, I mean, like, it's just important to know how to play your class, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, some of these classes, like, you can't just log in and, like, within 5 seconds, like, you just hold down one button and you're good. Like, you got to actually, like, learn how to play the class at least a little bit, and then it'll be really good after that. Okay, cool. So Bishop. I think Bishop is unoptimal, bro. The first unoptimal one. So it's not even about Bishop's nerfs, right? Like the support, like that shit doesn't even matter. This is just a class that doesn't get good until you have a lot of int. Like, it's as simple as that. So when you're low level and you don't have a lot of shit, you're just not scaling properly. This class scales a little bit differently than other classes, so it's just unoptimal in that way. Now, if you have a bishop boss when you're a lot stronger, then yeah, it's fine to solo bosses and stuff. Its self damage did go up, but when you're low level, it doesn't even matter. Like, bishop needs a lot of int to do things properly, so it's just unoptimal. Even though its nodes are fine, its kit is good, like in terms of the cooldowns, but because the damage output isn't going to be there since you're low level, especially on this class, then I don't recommend it. Obviously, you need a lot of Legion as well because of Infinity. So if you don't have a lot of Legion, then you're just cooked as well. That's actually a really good point to mention. Yeah, like you have to max unreliable memories. So it's a little bit more of a node eater than some other classes too. Yeah, Divine Punishment is better now, obviously, right? But like it still doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would say like even if you really like Bishop, I don't think you should make it as a boss. Bishop, as for the reasons we mentioned earlier, where it's like you need this class just hard scales off of how much int you have. The cooldown of one of your skills, Holy Blood, literally scales off of how much int you have. Right? So this is the first boss meal where it's one of those boss meals where it's like it's not worth making this as a boss meal unless you have plans to take it far.
I see. The cooldown's just 120 flat for blood.
Oh, they changed it to 120? Oh.
Yeah, but the other things still apply, like the int scaling. So, like, it's just not as optimal regardless.
Okay. But yeah, anyways, I think Bishop's one of those boss meals where it's like, unless you plan on taking it far, if you're only taking it up to Enlomium or even just normal slime, I don't think it's worth your time. But I will say, though, if you really do like Bishop, then I would try to take it further than End Slime.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because then it would actually be worth your while.
Yeah. Bishop is one that, like, is really good when you're really strong, it's really good. But early game, like, since this is only 220, it's not enough. Okay. Let's talk about DB. So, in my professional opinion, as the main DB in the VC right now, I think DB is OPAF, bro. I think it's an OPAF boss meal. I think it's one of the best boss meals. I think it's also insane to future-proof as well. Like, it's got it all. It's got really short cooldown, big hitting skills with Blades of Destiny and Blade Tornado. It's got really good 90-second burst and 3-minute burst. It has a node that you don't even have to level past level 1. So it's not even that big of a node eater either. But Shadow Walker and Last Resort are really important to level 2. So I guess that cancels that out. The other thing about DB is it has really good and easy to understand gameplay. Like, even if you're not playing it super optimally, like, as long as you know that, like, I have to press Blade Tornado, then I have to press Blade's Destiny, and then I use Ashura and Tempest, like, for my burst, like, you're good to go. And then you use Sudden Raid after Final Cut to reduce the cooldown, and Sudden Raid's also an iframe, and Chains of Hell is an iframe. You have a little bit of lifesteal too. That's right, it did get an up jump as well. Even though Blade Ascension is good, it does have a just standard up jump if you just want that as well. It's really good. It also got buffed, so it's a lot stronger now, the class. The other thing that kind of would used to take away from DB were the nodes, but you could just craft your nodes now, so it doesn't even matter. Another thing that's very important to mention is you definitely want a -2 hat on this class. It's very important to get that. But that's fine, though. Like, that's just a little bit of an extra funding requirement, but I don't think it's enough to make it go down a tier. This class benefits a lot from buff duration too. If you want to get like a buff duration, even like epic line would be really good for your inner ability, because it helps you with Final Cut instead of being like pretty close called Final Cut where you have to keep spamming Sudden Raid and you have to use it off cooldown. But other than that, like once you learn it a little bit, like it's super good. That's where I would put DB. Which node do you not have to level? Haunted Edge. You can just keep that shit at level 1.
Honestly, I know I'm a DB main, but I don't have a DB boss. So it's like, which sounds weird, but I can't really, I don't really know how to discern between placing it in OPAF or just placing it in very good. It did get buffed. Its key-downs did get condensed. For reference, Blade Tempest used to be 5, now it's 4 seconds long. Asura used to be 5, now it's 3 seconds long. Obviously, survivability is really good, as you mentioned before. But something to mention is, I guess, like, I don't know if it's a 220 boss mute. This is less important. But buff duration and crit rate are 2 stats that are really, really important for DB. And also, depending on how early in the game you are, or like how progressed your whole account is in terms of like Legion and whatnot, getting those stats might be really hard. Even with like very little amounts of buff duration, though, you should still be able to maintain 100% uptime of Final Cut as long as you're using Sudden Raid as soon as possible. Like the moment you press Final Cut, you just need to spam Sudden Raid. Because depending on how progressive your account is, you may or may not have the luxury of being able to use Final Cut every 90 seconds. And the reason why you want to use it every 90 seconds is because you do get that 3-second iframe when you use Final Cut, which would allow you to use your Blade Storm when you don't have your bind.
Especially
so
the 90-second one, yeah.
Yeah, it is 90-second cooldown, so, you know, for your first big burst where you have Shadow Walker or Maple Goddess, you know, you can bind the boss and guarantee that your Tempest and Asura are going to be hitting the boss no matter what. But when those 2 skills come off cooldown again, and you're using them together every 90 seconds, you don't have that bind, because bind cooldown on the boss itself is 100 seconds, right? So if you're going to be throwing out your Blade Storm, like you got to be aware of, you know, when was the last time a boss used a pattern that would make it disappear, or maybe it could stun you or whatever. So having the ability to use your Final Cut every 90s allows you to be a little bit safer when using those key downs, because it is a big commitment. Like that is your red winner in terms of damage.
But even with Katara, oh sorry,
oh no, we can talk about that. But I was gonna say, even with low buff duration and like whatnot, like you can still get by. I think, but because buff duration crit rate is just so important for DB, I would probably rate it to just be very good, because it's like, if it was OPF, buff duration and crit rate wouldn't even be something I would even bring up. Like it's just like not that, so it's not so good that it would be OPF. But because there are some things it needs to get going, I would put it at very good.
What do you think?
For
what
Katara,
do you mean by the crit rate though? Like it needs a crit rate inner, it needs Phantom Link. Like, what about it?
Yeah, you want to get 100% crit rate on DB, and DB's base crit rate is really, really low. It's like 45, I think, maybe even 35.
You don't think Phantom Link is enough to cover it?
No.
Oh wow, okay.
Like you're gonna have to put like hyper stat points into it. Still, like DB's crit rate is really low. That's why I said like it depends on how progressed your account is.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. Well, okay, so what do you think about that Katara? Like, you need Sweetwater on a mule?
No,
or is CRA good enough?
I think Sweetwater Katara, in my opinion, is only something you should go for if you have plans to like liberate the character.
I see.
Because like the amount of time you spend to unlock her mercy, to run the voyages, to unlock the weapon, and then like not even like transposing, like just the concept of just unlocking it is like that's a lot of time to commit for a boss meal. Whereas for any other boss meals we've mentioned already, you just get it to 20, get node zones on it, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So just Abso or Fafnir Edge is like good enough.
Okay. Chills. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I still think it's OPAF, but either way though, like anything in the very good tier or OPAF, like you're not gonna have any problems with it. So, but that's fine. I think the buff duration That's why I mentioned it. I think even getting an Epi line could be huge because, like, I remember when I had my DB boss mule, I remember when I didn't have buff duration, and yeah, it was kind of annoying to use Final Cut and Sun and Raid, like, just off cooldown. Like, sometimes if you forgot, maybe for, like, 10 seconds, like, you just weren't paying attention, like, there would be downtime with Sun and Raid. Like, you would not have the FD, which was kind of bad.
Yeah, it's 40. You're 40% weaker.
Yeah, that's a lot. So the buff duration definitely matters. It definitely helps a lot. But if you have really... So basically, like, this would have 2 rankings. If you have really high Legion, then it would be OPAF. If you don't, then it's very good, basically. But most people watching this probably don't have high as fuck Legion, so I'm just going to put it down here. All right, Blaster. So Blaster, I mean, this is like the age-old commentary on Blaster. It's as simple as, if you spend time learning the class, then it is an insanely strong and good boss meal and character in general. But most people probably won't do that. Like, most people probably won't do that.
Yeah, I think it's an unoptimal angle. No
Yeah.
matter how you splice it or flip it or whatever, like, it's just unoptimal.
Most people are not going to do that. Like, let's be honest here. It's a 220 boss meal that you're playing for maybe an hour a week max. Like, you're not going to do it. What if I'm a Blaster main? Yeah, well, if you're a Blaster main, then it's probably OPAF, to be honest with you. As 1 minute burst cooldown, a very good 2 minute burst cooldown, very strong consistent damage, insane survivability and movement. Like, it has pretty much everything in the kit. Like, it's an insane kit, to be honest with you. I learned Blaster not too long ago, and, like, it opened my eyes how OP this class is, like, low-key, in terms of the kit. It's like a sleeper OP class. But you have to learn how to play it. Like, that's, like, the one thing. So, if you're watching this part, and you didn't just skip to the end, I understand Blasters. Like, any Blasters watchers, I understand. Like, it is very good. But you have to be honest. Like, are people really going to spend the time learning Blaster when they could play BowMaster and get the same result for no effort? Like, let's be honest here. So,
W Heat Boy.
yeah. W Heat Boy. Shout out my GOAT, bro. All right, let's talk about Blaze Wizard. Actually, wait. Do you want to talk about Blaster or no?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, like, the reason... So, we put Bishop in unoptimal because of the kit. Doesn't really favor it for how early in the game of the is. Like, you just need raw amount of int to make the class good. Blaster is inoptimal for the reasons that it has a good kit, but there is a really steep learning curve of learning how to play the class. Unfortunately, like, you actually do have to know what you're doing on this class to really get, like, any, like, value out of the class at all as a boss meal.
Yeah.
So both are in the same category, but for completely different reasons. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah? Okay. That's fine then. Okay, we can move on to Blaze Wizard. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to laugh at Blaze Wizard, right? Like, this shit is ass. I feel like it's not that ass, though. Like, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like it at least gets the job done, to be honest with you. Like, I think it's Infernosphere, the way that the cooldown works. The modular cooldown, my favorite word, is crazy. Like, that's a crazy skill for killing the boss. Like, that alone, just the way that skill works, makes it, like, automatically good at killing multiple bosses in a row because it has different stacks. That's the way that I think of it. And then the other thing about Blaze Wizard is it has other skills that have, like, decent cooldowns, like Savage Flame. Like, that's a not too big of a cooldown, big hitting skill on Blaze Wizard. Now explain modular. So if you don't know how the Infernosphere cooldown works, Blaze Wizard has a skill that's part of its burst, and the skill has charges. It could charge up to 10 times. And when you hold down the skill, it takes from those charges, but you can stop your burst at any point in the middle of holding it, and the cooldown doesn't get, like, lowered. Like, it just only consumes however many charges you use. So you can just use, like, maybe 3 out of the 10. Next boss, use another 3 out of 10. Next boss, another 3 out of 10. Like, and then the cooldown is going back up as you're using it. So It's a skill that's like very frequently used, and it has a lot of damage relative to the cooldown. So it's pretty cool. It also has Blazing Extinction as well. Extinction, which is like their summon that has a very low cooldown as well. So it has like low cooldown skills that are good. The downsides to Blaze Wizard though is I think a lot of people won't like the play style. They won't like the way that the orbitals come out and the way it feels. At least that's what I've experienced, and I've been told by some other people. And they probably don't like the movement because like it only has flash jump and like a rinky dink TP that you have to keep resetting every single time. And there's like not that much air stall besides using your burst. Yeah, exactly. Extinction's like a 30-second cooldown now. So it's like not that bad for like the low cooldown big hitting skills too. So for me, like I think it at least gets the job done. It does need Legion though, so if you're Giga Low Legion, probably not recommended. You don't have to reset the TP now. Oh, okay, that's really good then. That's really good then. So for me, I would put it here. I don't know if you think about anything else for Blaze Wizard.
I don't have a Blaze Wizard. I don't even have a Blaze Wizard created. I have one Cygnus Knight on my account, and it's just a Nightwalker.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you don't have... you need to have at least 2, right, for the link, or no?
No, I don't even use the link.
Oh. I mean the passive. Or do you just need 1?
You just need 1.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Blaze Wizard, it is a 2-minute class. As you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It has modular cooldown. It's a flash jump class, even though it's a mage. It does have a TP, like a place down summon that you can TP back to, I think is how it works, right? So its movement options aren't the best, but far from the worst as well.
Yeah. It has its own bind too. It has 90-second like burst with Phoenix Drive as well, the hyper skill.
I will say though, like I feel like Blaze Wizard is like very... It's one-dimensional, but it's like not even like exciting. One dimension. It's a very like... I feel like it's a pretty boring class. Just from like watching people play it. Like I feel like I would have way more fun playing Dawnward than I would Blaze Wizard. But aside from that, like these are just kind of like what I'm saying is it doesn't really matter much. In terms of performance, I don't actually know how well it performs as a boss. I think the fact that it's a 2-minute class already makes it like better than a lot of options.
Yeah. The thing with Blaze Wizard is the Blaze Wizards that I know that have Blaze Wizard boss mules is they like overfunded their Blaze Wizard boss mules a lot so that they could just like 1-2 tap with Inferno Sphere. You know what I mean? And it's like so good in that way. So like I don't know if you're weak as fuck on Blaze Wizard, if it's actually good or not.
I think it's probably like I think where it stands probably makes sense just based on our limited knowledge. Like it could be at very good, but because neither of us have one, and it's hard to put it higher. I feel like, unfortunately, I would not be surprised if it could be put into very good. It's just I don't have a boss mode to know if that's true or not.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I think it's a high end of job done. Okay,
I would probably play a Blaze Wizard than an Adele boss meal if I was forced to. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, let's move on to BowMaster. I mean, right away, this is OPAF. Like, BowMaster, not only did it get buffed this patch, so it just does way more damage, and it's a lot stronger. Like, I was comparing to the BowMaster in my party. Like, this dude's doing almost as much damage as me. Like, it's crazy on a 2-minute burst timer. So what makes BowMaster so good is it's really easy to play. Like, its V skills are simply just press them and then hold down Hurricane. Like, they're buffs. It's just like 1, 2, 3. Boom. You just press them. If you're really strong, you could even split them. Like, you could split the orange one, the orange arrow one, with like the other 2, high speed and the blue one. Or I forgot what it's called, but there's like the blue, yellow, and orange one. Those 3.
Bro's playing Gojo or what? Like, what?
Yeah, there's like 3 different color V skills. There's the blue one, the yellow one, and the orange one. You can even split them up on bosses if you don't want to like use it all on one boss. So there's that. And then the other thing is it has really good survivability as well. Like it has lifesteal and it has I think silhouette mirage, where you have these like dummies that generate every like 70 seconds or something, and they just tank any hit that does like 50% max HP or more. So it's like you can't die. It's really easy to play. It has good movement too with air stall and a teleport that you could place down wherever you want. And it's really easy to play. Like it's like one of the most, maybe the most optimal boss mule to play. It also has a dummy that makes bosses. Oh no, that's Marksman. I'm dumb. Forget I said that. Yeah, this shit's OP as
long
fuck.
time ago.
Yeah, it did used to have it a long time ago. Remember the game that was in the event where you get to play the old school classes?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's a very OP, very, very simple to play.
Mm-hmm.
Did get recently buffed, so it really is strong. And even before it got buffed, it was a really good boss build too.
Yeah,
except
even back
now,
that's even
it's
better.
very OP because it got buffed.
And you have goddess every burst now.
Mm-hmm.
And this class's burst is like a minute long too. Like it's like long, so you get like all the value out of the goddess too. Yeah, this shit's broken as fuck. Like straight up, it's if you want a very strong boss mule that's very easy to play. Literally the only downside, the nodes are so easy too. The only downside is that maybe you find it boring. That's it. Like that's the only thing I've heard people say. Like they'll never say it's not good. They'll just say like, "Oh, it's boring. I don't like playing it." And that's it. So this is like broken as fuck. Okay, let's move on to Buccaneer. This is another broken ass fucking boss meal.
Yeah,
just another one. Not only is it so Buccaneer does have like some tech to it, but you don't even have to do the tech for it to be broken. Its consistent damage is good. Its 90-second burst is really good. Its 3-minute burst just got buffed as well, so its 3-minute burst got even stronger with the lightning form. Blue balls. That shit got way stronger now. And very good movement. You have something called defensive form, which I don't know the exact percentage, but something like 75% of the time you take reduced damage. And that's reduced percent damage. So something that would one-shot you just wouldn't one-shot you. And it's something that you have to even like actively think about. It's just like a passive thing that makes you tanky as fuck. So you just won't die to that. And then you also have a skill called Lord of the Deep, which does a lot of damage for you. That just works automatically. Like you just turn it on and it just does a lot of damage. They changed it recently that your Serpent Vortex, you could just let them all out at once for like a mini burst of damage, I guess. I don't even know what else to say about this. I think it's fun too. So it's like it doesn't even have the boring debuff that you could potentially get with BowMaster. Like every Buck player I know is like really into it. So I think it's like a super good boss mule. It's also great for future proofing too. If you want to get it to 260 at some point, it works. It's super efficient with Hexa skills, even just level 1 Hexa mastery. It's like super strong with that.
It has a 90-second burst as well.
Yeah, the 90-second burst is really good. And it's iframe too.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. It's just a really solid class. Like, good survivability, good movement, very good, like, distribution of damage.
What do you mean by future proofing? I mean, like, let's say you really like it and you want to like hyper burn it one day, or like get it to 260 to do like C10 bosses, then it's a great option to do that too. Same with BowMaster and AB. That's why they're also OPAF. All right, next one. Cadena. Now, in the past, I've put Cadena as like a pretty low ranking one, but that's mostly because of two things. You have to learn the class. It's not like a brain dead class. And the nodes are annoying as fuck. But now that the nodes are not annoying, the only downside is that you have to learn it, right? You have to learn the class. Cadena's consistent damage is really good. Its 3-minute burst is really strong too. So if you plan to learn the class, I actually think it's a really good boss meal. But most people probably won't want to learn it. So for me, I would put it like, I don't think I would put it on optimal. I would put it in just gets the job done. That's where I would put it. The only downside is that you would have to learn it. The nodes are fine though. Its damage consistently is good. Its burst is good. It has its own bind as well.
I would probably rate it higher than Adele. Actually, that's I don't know.
I think Blaster's way harder to learn though than Cadena. It's like a different level.
Oh yeah, I don't think Cadena
That's
goes
why.
into unoptimal.
Yeah, it's not just because something's hard to learn. It's not equal difficulty. Like Blaster's way harder. Like Blaster's one of those classes that like you log into it and you don't even have to like you don't even know what to do. You know what I mean? Cadena, like worst case scenario, like you just spam your fucking buttons and you'll still get something done. But on Blaster that doesn't work. You actually like have to learn it. Like there's no other way.
Honestly, I think I would put Cadena higher than Adele. Like if two people, if someone had no idea what to do on both of those classes, I think they would get better results out of Cadena than they would on Adele.
I agree, bro. Because Cadena, like, if you really don't know, you could play it as a whack-a-mole class. All you have to know is that to keep up your muscle memory, you need to use all the different skills at least once. And then you're at 8 stacks of muscle memory and you're max FD. And then after that, like, you could just go whack-a-mole brain dead mode and still, like, and still get some decent results out of it. Straight up. You don't have to combo for not bad results. Yeah. You can just like spam thrash and just keep up your muscle memory. But you should be comboing though. Like certain skills are really strong. The other thing that is important to mention is the need for cooldown hat. You definitely want to get at least -2 if you're going to play this. You definitely want cooldown skip inner ability and cooldown skip Legion artifact. Very, very important for this class to feel really strong. Oh no, you don't. That's what Cadena says. Shut it!
Did we even talk about CD hat for TB?
We did, yeah. At least I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All good. Because I didn't say anything about it.
yeah, I mentioned it.
Okay, Cannon Master.
CM. Okay, so I have a CM boss meal. I obviously hate this class, but I hate this class because of the way it trains. I think as a boss meal, it's really good. Like, it's a really, really good boss meal in terms of bossing. It's fun to play, has very low cooldown skills. Yes, it's got modular cannons. Yep, exactly. Really good movement. The movement can be a little hard to control, so you're going to have to practice at least a little bit. Has a very, very good iframe that does a lot of damage. 25-second cooldown iframe, the nuclear option. That is like, it's like a really good iframe. It's like a 1-second iframe, and then another 1-second iframe after when you do the shooting part of it. And it does a lot of damage too. Like, it's like an underrated skill. You have the monkey squad that does a lot of damage for you that you don't even have to think about. If you're super strong on it, the bullets, you would only have to use like 1 bullet per boss. You could just run through them. The downside to Cannon Master, though, in my opinion, is you definitely need attack speed inner. It's not like an option, to be honest with you. Like, you definitely want to get attack speed inner for it to feel like playable, in my opinion. And then previously, I would say the nodes were like ass on it, but now that you could craft your own trios, that's not really like any concern, so you're good to go in that sense. It doesn't have any like giga big burst, so if you're looking for something that has just like this, like a super big burst, then this is not the class. What's cool about this though is if you are fighting something like Damien, you could still burst Damien even in the air because you could just jump up and shoot your cannons up there. So like that's really convenient for me. Like I feel like that's pretty valuable because Damien's like usually the worst boss to do every single week out of all your boss meals. So the fact that you could do it, like that's pretty good. So for me, I think it's very good. The only thing preventing me from putting in OPAF is probably just a little bit more damage for it to be OPAF and maybe just a little bit easier to play. And that's it.
Yeah, there is a little bit of micromanaging on.
Yeah.
Like there's like that one buff you can like
the barrel.
The barrel you RNG roll for buffs. There's also like isn't there like a debuff you have to apply too?
Yeah.
Or is that
there's a debuff, yeah.
There's a debuff and also there are a little bit of summons you gotta place down every now. right? It's also a pirate class, so like we mentioned with AB about like overdrive, and we just so we can bring it up again. Just we talked about Buccaneer and Arc, but overdrive is also like it's yeah. You probably don't use it unless you have a high level. But it's also pretty nice to have for kind of master up because it's the 1 minute cooldown for overdrive, and you generate the bullet every 30 seconds, right?
For overdrive,
25?
or it's 25 for the bullets.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very nice to be able to use your bullets with your overdrive.
Yeah. I mean, those are like, it's just like a slight things that are keeping it from being higher, but it's really good. Just make sure you don't have to actually train it, though. If you train it, it's miserable. Just make sure you don't train it, and then you're good. Okay, let's talk about Corsair. So, in the past, I actually put Corsair as not amazing either. Like, Corsair, the past it was plagued by node issues, didn't do as much damage. But Corsair got a really big buff recently, and its cooldowns were whack as fuck in the past too. That too. So it was like whack ass cooldowns, not a lot of damage, and had node issues. All three of these things have been addressed at this point. Node issues, you could craft your node, cooldowns got better, and it got a lot more damage with its buffs. So because of all of those things, for me, I think Corsair is also very good. The only thing that's preventing me from putting it in OPAF, maybe you could argue, is just replacing summons. Like if you are somebody who doesn't want to replace summons, then you might find it annoying to play, and that's it. But in terms of everything else, like good low cooldowns for bossing, very good low cooldowns for bossing, very good survivability with your crewmen that could just tank statuses for you, very good movement. You have a glide. Glide is so OP in bossing, and you have a lot of damage. Like it has all of those things. So if you want to put it in OPAF, I'm okay with that. But for me, I would put it just in. I'd probably put it like here, in terms of very good.
Yeah, I don't think I can put it in OP in it. Like even if we like disregard like the annoyance of summons, I think putting it in very good just makes. Well, I think where you place it is probably fine. They did like unify some of Corsair's cooldowns, right? Like was it the bullet time? I think that thing got changed, right?
I think that thing is got fixed as well. I think it was on some whack ass cooldown in the past.
Was it like 75 or something? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, now it's just like
it's
a 90-second burst.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, like that's a big difference. That's a really nice big difference. So
another power class, overdrive. You know how it is.
Overdrive, so you could save a node by not using it if you don't want to. Okay, moving on to Dark Knight. What do you think about the Dark Knight DB comparisons? Now that both of them got buffed. Think it's valid to compare them still or no?
I actually don't even know the state of Dark Knight even after the buff play. Because it got nerfed a lot. Remember? At one point it was like really strong, so they touched like Final Pact and they touched something else. I don't remember what the most recent buffs did. Like, did it undo it? Did it make it better than what it was before? I don't actually remember. I know they condensed the burst of Cyclone. But in terms of performance, I don't actually know where it goes. I don't have a Dark Knight boss meal. I think it's probably like low end of very good. Maybe even potentially it gets job done because this class heavily thrives off of cooldown hat. It does have good DPM. Its burst is like kind of lackluster, but it for at this level like 220 boss mealing, it gets the job done. For the most part. Has lifesteal, has very good survivability because you have modular Final Pact. You're almost always going to be using the lowest cooldown one. Like, there's no point of using like the max Final Pact, especially because depending on how progressive your count is, just like how we mentioned with dual blade with buff duration. Buff duration is also a very important stat on Dark Knight. Because it directly influences the duration of your final pack timer, and also that one other buff. There's some other buff where if you have
The
enough buff
waifu?
duration, no, not the waifu. There's some other buff that like it scales off of your buff duration. It gives you like a lot of stats. I don't remember what it was called. So because it like there's pretty big importance on buff duration for Dark Knight, I can't put it in very good. I feel like it's probably like top end of, actually not can't put it at the top of very good. I think it's probably like low end of very good or like top of gets job done.
Yeah, this is a huge buff duration necessity class, and you need a cooldown hat. So like automatically it can't be OPAF because it like needs those. For me, it's definitely very good just because of the buffs that it recently got. Like its damage is way more now. It has very low cooldown skills as well, with the Evil Eye Shock or whatever the fuck it's called. Like that's like a very low cooldown skill that like makes you feel like your DPS is actually really strong in this class.
You can CD skip it too.
Yeah.
I think that's what Dark Knights run. They run attack speed, CD skip.
Thank you, Johnny, my goat. Oh yeah, attack speed's another one, bro. Like that's crazy. This thing's inner ability is crazy. Like you need like a fat inner.
Yeah, you need Exodia on this guy. Like,
yeah,
actually,
you need like
perfect
the
inner CD
inner.
hat.
Yeah.
Good buff duration, like.
Yeah, like that's actually crazy how much you need for it to be like super good. Okay, even if you play CD skip with boss, like you still need like a good inner. Like the guys who use like attack speed buff boss, attack speed buff skip, like those are like high requirements for inner ability, and it makes like a major change in your gameplay too. I'm gonna put it in very good though. I'm just gonna keep it here for now.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really look too closely on how big the Dark Knight buffs, because I know it got nerfed in the past, and I don't know if these buffs make up for that. If like it just puts it back to where it was before in terms of performance, or like it's even better than that now. But obviously, condensed burst is always nice.
Yeah.
Especially because the waifu skill, like you mentioned earlier, that used to be back loaded. Now it's not.
That's not, so nice.
Or it's not as backloaded. I don't remember, but I just know that got like a huge quality of life.
What is waifu skill? That's funny.
Dawn Warrior.
You'll know, bro. All right, Dawn Warrior. Let's talk about Dawn Warrior. So in the past, I've ranked this as like one of the best boss meals to make, but I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I got baited, bro. I feel like I got baited, and I feel like this is a trap boss meal. This is one of the biggest traps, yeah. So I feel like on the surface, you'll think that Dawn Warrior is really good. Like you have Rift of Damnation and Cosmos and Eclipse, like all these like skills that like the cooldowns feel good, right? And it feels really good when they're on. But man, when you don't have those skills, this is the worst fucking class in the game. Like when Rift is down, you do no damage, like nothing. It's like piss zero. Like you just do nothing at all. Like you're just useless until Rift is back up. So like if you want to do this boss meal and you're okay with literally just waiting for Rift to come up between bosses, then this thing is crazy. Like it's so good. It's so good. But if you're trying to go from boss to boss to boss, like this thing is miserable. Like you especially if you're not like super strong. Like let's say you're doing Damien and like you have to do like maybe 2 or 3 rifts to kill him. Like it's gonna feel so miserable. Like it's gonna feel like dog shit. Now the other thing that made Dawn Warrior so good in the past was its nodes were so cheap. But now that nodes are not like as much of a factor, it doesn't really matter as much. Like that aspect that made Dawn Warrior so good in the past isn't as important anymore because nodes are so free. The perfect trios are so free to get on every class now. So for me, like, I would put it in gets the job done. Like that's where I would put it. I would put just gets the job done because it can get the job done really effectively if you're okay with waiting for bursts. But I think off burst, it's so miserable. That's the way I see Dawn Warrior these days.
Damn. That's very interesting because I feel like Dawn Warrior has just been at the top of like boss meal charts for the longest time.
Yeah, it has been.
Ever since Ignition.
It definitely has been. And that's just because, like, I think the nodes were a big one. Like, I would always mention, it's like, dude, it's so easy. You need one pair of trios. You only had to max 2 V skills, too, on this. Like, you didn't even have to max the other 2. So it was, like, giga node efficient. And back then, it was, training was important. You didn't have as many, like, vouchers and shit as today. So, like, training Dawn Warrior was super easy. It was so easy to one-shot and everything, too. But now it's, like, training isn't a thing. Nodes are easy on everyone. So now it's just based off strictly bossing performance, and then the bossing performance is only good on burst. That's the way I see it.
Again, I don't have a Dawn Warrior boss, so I don't actually know, but I do remember that it does have 90-second burst. It has a class bind. When you are bursting, the hitbox on the burst is fucking disgusting. That you can even hit Damien in the air.
Yeah, like you could just like, yeah, that shit's hits the whole map.
You have giga iframes. That's about what I remember about this class.
Yeah. Dude, it could ignore DR, but Akechi doesn't even have DR anymore. So it's like it doesn't even matter.
Yo, I found out that the other day. I was
Dude,
so
that's
happy.
the best change, like by far.
I got so tilted because I like AFK for a second and I died. I'm like, no, he's gonna have damage reflect now, and then he didn't. And I'm
Dude,
like,
he
what?
even does the animation, but there's no DR. So like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, there's no DR in Akechi anymore. Like, it's the best change ever, straight up. You can just beat his ass in like 2 seconds now. It's so convenient. It's so convenient.
All right.
Okay.
I
Let's move on to DA. Okay, Demon Avenger, I think this thing's OP as fuck, just off the dome. Like, in terms of a boss meal, this thing's consistent damage is insane. It's also very strong and very easy to play. Now, you don't need no 29 Frenzy, RFS to make this thing good. You could go complete monkey mode, 30 Frenzy, no RFS, and still perform. And it's, like, really easy to do it, too. Class can't die. Can't die. Giga, really high consistent damage as well, and got buffed in this patch just now. That's the way I see DA. I think DA is an OP boss meal at the moment. In the past, I put it in like one tier below OP, but these days I think it's just OP at this point. And if you want a future proof, like if you want to play it in the future, its origin is really, really good for 6 shop.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say. Like, I just know the class is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty easy to play too. It only becomes difficult when you do apply both of those things, being RFS and level 29 Frenzy.
Yeah, that's when it gets hard. On a boss meal, you don't need that shit. 30 Frenzy, call it a day. And you're still doing a lot of damage. And then if you want more damage, you could just do 29 Frenzy. It's like, that's always an option, so.
Gearing up Demon Avenger is also very chill too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get giga value out of a Dominator. Because
Yeah.
it gives you percent HP.
Bro, I swear HP lines are easier to roll too.
HP flames are actually so easy to do too.
Mm-hmm. It's like even the gearing process on this thing is easier.
It has the cheapest flames, I think.
Mm-hmm. More than Xenon?
Yeah, I think it's cheaper than Xenon.
Let's see.
Like, you don't... All stat lines don't do anything for you. You just HP and flat attack, and you're good.
All stat doesn't give HP?
All stat's just... That's just strength, dex, and luck.
I thought I gave HP. I'm tripping then. I thought I gave HP and mana. Straight up.
I mean,
Dude,
that would make sense.
Xenon has the most expensive flames. Isn't it like the complete opposite? Doesn't Xenon have the most expensive pot, but easier flames?
No, I think on the top end, like if you're min maxing, then it has the most expensive flame. But
Yeah,
like
that's
for the
true.
settles, it's
I see. Okay.
anyways. Demon Slayer.
All right, Demon Slayer. I mean, this is another. Well, I don't know. So Demon Slayer kind of has like Dawn Warrior problem, where like when Demon Awakening is down, if it feels like you're not doing shit. But Demon Awakening is up for so long though. Like the uptime on it is very high. And its 2-minute burst is very, very strong. Like Demon Bane, Snake, Orthus, like all that shit does a lot of damage. Class also can't die. You have a shit ton of iframes. Oh, this also kind of goes back to DA. A lot of people don't like Glide for some reason. Trust me, guys, like Glide is OP as hell. Like you have to get used to it. It's so useful in bossing. DS is even better because you have a skill called Chaos Lock that could just teleport you behind the boss. So it's like crazy for like movement as well.
Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos Lock. Chills. And Demon Bane. The other thing is this class ignores DR, but it's not as relevant anymore just because of Akechi not having DR. But yeah, I personally think DS is OP. The biggest thing that was holding it back in the past was the nodes. But now that nodes are easy as hell to get the perfect trios, I don't think it's a problem at all. That's the way I look at DS these days. I think it's really good. Can you teach us backwards glide? No. It's my tech. DS is also good future-proofing too. If you want to bring it up higher, there's always good value, and you can TP farm. This is Lomi and Boss Mules, but we're also throwing in the fact that like if you want to get them up in the future, like they're good options too. Thank you, Yunhai. Yeah, they removed DR from Akechi. They removed the Dominican Republic. Okay, let's continue to Evan. So I think Evan's just like one of those like, actually, I don't know. I think Evan's between Unoptimal and Gets the Job Done. It's somewhere there because not only is Evan like a micromanaging hard class to play, they did make Evan easier. Obviously, like they made Elemental Radiance. I mean, a while ago they did change this. They made it a lot easier to proc it. But it's not even about that. It's about the constant fusion skills, recalling, placing down your mana turret thing, like constantly. Like you just have to like keep pressing shit all the time. Like it's annoying. It's a high APM class essentially, and I think a lot of people won't like that. Evan's cooldowns are very, very, very good. The Dragon Dive and the Worm King Breath, the combo 5th job skill, are very good cooldowns. Like Dragon Dive does a lot of damage on like a 20-25 second cooldown, and then the Worm King is a 1-minute cooldown and it does a lot of damage. So like if you learn how to play Evan and you are okay with high APM, then I think it's a really good boss mule. But obviously most people I think would not want to do that. Its 3-minute burst is really good too. So for me, I would put it in Gets the Job Done, but pretty low Gets the Job Done. I think it's almost unoptimal for most players. That's the way I look at Evan. I used to have an Evan boss mule too. And it was just a lot of work, to be honest.
I think it's probably like the top of unoptimal. Don't you need to max a lot of the skills on this class?
Yeah, all that shit needs to be max.
And it's like it's a lot of microman it's probably one of the highest micromanaging classes we have on here, right?
Yeah, that we've done so far for sure. Like there's a lot of micro on this shit. There's a summon that you have to replace every 10 seconds, like constantly, right? And then you have to constantly do fusion skills, and you have to know which fusion skills to do in the right sequence. It's like you can't just spam the same one over and over again. There's like 3 that you just have to rotate, and they all debuff as well. And you have to like recall them too. Yeah. This shit ain't it.
Yeah, essentially, like, you would only make it Evan if you really like this class. And even if you do really like this class, it's, like, it's just not really doing that much work.
That's the way I look at it. All right, let's talk about Fire Poison. You know, I'm actually a Fire Poison expert these days. So Fire Poison, biggest thing in the past that was holding it back was its nodes. The nodes are crazy on this class. One of the hardest in the game, in my opinion, because you need to boost like 9 skills. But that doesn't matter anymore. So who cares? It's still a node eater though, because at the end of the day, you still need 3 sets of trios that you need a max. You need all 4 V skills that you need a max, and you need a max unreliable memories. Like you have to like max these skills. So it's like for it to be really good specifically, like I want to point that out. If you want to like cheap out on like let's say Poison Nova, like that's fine. But yeah, the custom costs 500 still, but it's custom for 6 skills, so it's 3,000. So it's like still a node eater. It's just not as bad as it used to be, but it's still a node eater. You definitely need cooldown hat on this. You need a lot of buff duration on this as well. So you need attack speed inner as well. So like this has a lot of requirements for it to be really good. So at the end of the day, like I would put it like low gets job done, maybe unoptimal, because FP only gets really good once you have all of the pieces put together. You have all of your nodes, you have your attack speed inner, you have a lot of buff duration, you have cooldown hat, then it's so good. Like it's like DB. Like that's how it feels. Like it feels really good once you get everything together, but DB's requirements aren't as high as FP's. So that's the way I look at FP. Also, if you want to future-proof it, it's not even that good for future-proofing either, because its origin sucks.
You rate it lower than Downward?
No, I just put it there for now. If I were to place it here, I would definitely put it here. Like it's better than the others, in my opinion. Because there's some things that you could like skip out on a little bit. Like if you just want to get 50% buff duration top line and a -2 hat, like yeah, that's not optimal for everything, but that's still gonna make the FP experience like way better. What's also good about FP is it gets a lot of value from the custom buff UI because you have infinity. And you could just press your infinity off cooldown. You don't need a timer for anything because this is just pure DPS. So it's not like IL or Bishop where you have to time infinity. It's the easiest infinity user out of the 3. So that's another nice thing about FP. Oh, I think it has a pretty decent learning curve too. I don't think it's an easy class to play. It has a lot of micro. You have to press Flame Haze and Explosion like very frequently. And you have to make sure you have your explosion skill whenever you're using Poison Nova. Oh wait, did I say Poison Nova you could skip out on nodes earlier? No, I meant Poison Chain, not Poison Nova. If there's any FPs watching this and they're yelling at me like, bro, Duky said you could skip leveling on Poison Nova. That's one of our main skills. I meant Poison Chain. That's where I would put it.
Yeah. If you do have like a pretty progressed account though, like in terms of Legion and Artifact, it does make the Infinity issue a lot less apparent because of the Infinity classes, which is Bishop, Fire Poison, and Ice Lightning. Like Fire Poison, you pretty much just use Infinity whenever, like you just recast it when it expires. Like you're just always dealing damage. You're just basically using your skills off cooldown. So it is pretty simple to play. There is that micromanaging aspect of fire haze, whatever it's called.
Flame Haze, yeah.
Flame haze. But if it weren't for the fact that buff duration was so important, and I guess cooldown hat, it would be a pretty highly rated boss meal. But because of those reasons, yeah, I think top gets job done. Makes sense.
Yeah, the thing about this class's infinity is like, although the other classes, they have to time their infinity, they don't technically need as much buff duration, right? Because as long as they get infinity for their burst, then they get most of their value out, like IL especially. But because this class is pure DPS, you really want a lot of buff duration so that you always have infinity up. Because like, if you don't have it up, you're missing out on so much damage. You could do like an entire combo with no infinity at all. Or maybe it's just the start of your infinity only. So like, that's why it's really important to always have it out. Okay, but we can move on to Hayato. You know, obviously main Hayato. I have a Hayato boss meal too. Or I used to have one as well, so I've seen like both ends. I do not recommend this class. Like, I think Hayato is a class that should be like main only. Like, that's the way that I look at it, because there's too many like rinky-dink, weird-ass fucking like animation cancels and like certain behaviors that just work very weird with this class that is just it's very strange, and you have to get used to all of them. And then the other thing is just the nature of keeping up Phantom Blade between bosses is very annoying. Like, even for me, if I'm running through my bosses and I don't execute the boss with Phantom Blade to refresh the stack before moving on to the next boss, you could drop your stacks. And if you drop your stacks in between bosses and you have to restack up, recharge your energy to 1,000 before you enter the next boss, this shit's it's annoying as fuck. So that's why I don't recommend Hayato for most people. The thing about Hayato though is if you do still want to do it and you learn it, it is very strong. Like you will be rewarded for learning it. It is very, very strong. It has Goddess on a 2-minute cooldown now. And if you don't know, Sengoku's Goddess is the strongest one. It gives you up to 50% final damage, whereas other classes just give you fucking like damage percent or random bullshit or stat. But like Hayato's gives you final damage, so it's really, really good. It is a little bit of a node eater because you have to max out your skills. You can't. There's not really like any V skills that you could just get away with not maxing, like Haunted Edge on DB or World Reaver on Hero. Like you gotta max Phantom Blade, Insta Slice, Susanoo, and Zonko. Like all 4 of them are very, very, very strong. You also gotta max Sakuno's Blessing and Sengoku Force. So another 2 skills that are very important to use. So it is a little bit of a node eater. Hayato's nodes are a lot better now for those who might be a little older, thinking like, oh, Hayato's nodes are dog shit. Why the fuck would I ever play this? It's way easier. It only has 10 boostable skills now. For those who want to know what the boost nodes are, it's Shinsoku, Raisen Renzon / Right Flash, and Hitakiri 100 Strikes, and Falcon's Honor. I said Shinsoku, right? I think I did. Yeah, that's what you boost. So for me, I would put it in unoptimal. I do think that it's probably better than the others in unoptimal, because if you do want to play it, at least you're rewarded with like a super strong class. Blaster too. Blaster's probably better than the others actually, because it's still super strong. All right, let's talk about Hero. So Hero's the next one. Yeah, the stacks are annoying even if you learn it. Like I'm telling you, even for me, when I run through my bosses in a row, like it's annoying as fuck. Let's talk about Hero. So I've had a Hero boss meal before. I have a Hero boss meal right now, and Hero did just get buffed in the latest patch. Hero is a very good boss meal in my opinion. If I were to place it somewhere, I would place it just right off the dome. I'd probably place it like right here, most likely. Hero is a very, very good boss meal. The only thing that's taken away from Hero is when your Burning Soul Blade is down, your damage isn't too crazy, and you definitely want attack speed in her. So like it has like a little bit of like an extra funding requirement. Not too big of a deal though. But Hero's damage is really good. You have very strong 2-minute bursts with Instinctual Combo. You have good consistent damage with Burning Soul Blade because it lasts for a while. But once Burning Soul Blade goes down, your damage falls off for sure. It's also very easy to play. That's the other thing. It's very, very easy to play. It's not complicated at all. As a very, very good iframe with World Reaver on like a 25-30 second cooldown or something. So that's very convenient. The other thing about Hero is it's very cheap on nodes. It's very, very cheap on nodes. So you can just keep World Reaver at level 1 and like you're getting pretty much max like efficiency out of it just at level 1. So it saves node costs as well, which is nice. You don't need any extra funding like a giga amount of buff duration or anything like that. I'm trying to think what else about Hero. It has good dashes like with its regular dash and its Spirit Blade or whatever it's called, the one that targets the mob. That one is good too. No, Hero's definitely not dog. Definitely not. It's a really, really good boss meal. I would definitely recommend it as well for most people. Well, welcome back, bro.
Yo. Talking about Hero?
Yeah, I put it at really good. I just finished my Hero rant. You have anything to say about Hero or no?
I do have a Hero boss meal.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
I have one. I like it.
I do end slime on it. It's strong enough where it's just one test right now. It's pretty satisfying to play. Like, it's just a very solid character. It has good movement options, like you mentioned before. I kind of overheard a little bit. On-demand iframe that you don't need to use for your burst. Like, you just only use it as an iframe. Nothing else. It's kind of hard to split your burst on this character. Like, you kind of just like all in or nothing. I have tried splitting burst on it when I'm doing like the easier bosses because my character's kind of overgeared. But you end up just like still just using everything anyway. Because if you were to like pop stuff but not your instinctual combo, it's like when you do pop your instinctual combo, it just feels like watered down.
Yeah, 100%. The way that I would split bursts, I would do instinctual combo with like Cry Valhalla, right? And then I would just, when that shit's down, then I would pop Burning Soul Blade. That's how I would probably split burst on it. It does.
Burning Soul Blade's super nice.
It has super stance, which is nice. Like a lot of super stance on this class. Like you have Impenetrable Skin and Cry Valhalla.
It also got buffed this patch, no?
Yeah, it got buffed too. I think Rising Rage got buffed as well. So like, it's off BSB, off instinctual combo got better too. Okay, we can move on to Hoyoung.
Wait, is there a reason why you didn't rate it higher?
The only reason why I rated it didn't rate it higher is because when you're off burst, it feels like it does no damage, in my opinion. Like so like you have your instinctual combo for like 20 seconds, and then after you have Burning Soul Blade, I think for like 70 seconds or something. After that, I feel like it doesn't do anything.
Fair. I feel like, I don't know, Sword Illusion kind of pumps the maybe.
Yeah, Sword Illusion's good. I agree, it's good, but I feel like it's just like it's close to being OP, but I don't think it's quite there for me. That's just the way I feel when I play Hero.
Okay. Honestly, seeing what classes are surrounding Hero right now, where he plays it, I think it.
What puts DS above it? DS's kit is just better. Like in terms of like movement, survivability, lifesteal, stuff like that. I think it's better. It's also easier to split burst on DS too. And DS, I think, has better future proofing too.
All right, Hoyoung.
Have you ever played it? No, you haven't actually, right?
Only to 200.
Yeah, I had a Hoyoung boss meal. I liked it a lot. Personally, I liked it a lot. But the only thing I would say about Hoyoung is definitely a learning curve. Like, it's not one of those classes that you could just pick up and go. Definitely want to learn how the two gauges work. There's the dot gauge and then like the outer gauge. The other thing is cooldowns can be kind of long. Phil, the Tiger, long cooldown. Clone Rampage, long cooldown. Wrath of Gods, long cooldown. So it's like your V skills have really long cooldowns. The Cudgel reset one is like a 90 second, I believe. So like that's good. It has like a good 90 second. They buffed its hyper skill. They have a hyper skill called like Tonic, and it makes it so that your gauge insta fills, and like the first 3 seconds of you using your skills, I think, just costs nothing. Like it doesn't cost any gauge. So the main thing for that I feel is like it makes the burst setup way easier because you could just pop your Tonic every 90 and 3 minute, and like you could just put down all your summons, do your debuff, everything like right away, and like you just don't have to worry about having to like, because you in the past you would have to use the dot gauge to fill up the outer gauge, so you would have to like fill up the dot gauge by attacking it, then put down your summon, which filled up the outer gauge, then you would have to fill up the dot gauge again to really fill up your outer gauge like to full, then you would put down your big summon and like repeat. So like the burst setup was like longer before, but it got faster now, which is really, really good. But I think because most of its damage is in 3 minute and 90 second, and then off that it doesn't do too much damage, it's only so high that I could put it. It's almost like a worse Dark Knight. That's the way I look at it. It's like a worse Dark Knight. in terms of its bossing performance, but it's better than Dark Knight because its funding requirement isn't as high. It doesn't need like Giga Buff Duration, doesn't need like attack speed in her, doesn't need High Legion or anything like that. So for me, like, I think it's like right next to Dark Knight. That's where I would put it. Or maybe even just one lower. Oh, the other thing about this is you definitely should finish its entire storyline, which kind of could be annoying because other classes you don't have to do the storyline. You definitely want to do the entire storyline on Hoyoung because you get your fly ability, and then the passive you get, I think, is 10% attack and 10% FD. It's like an insane passive that you like can't miss out on.
Did you mention that for Adele?
No, I didn't. But you definitely want to do that on Adele too.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But just for that reason, I'm putting both of them lower on Git's job done, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to do all that
right.
for a boss meal, dude.
You're actually right, bro. Like you have to do that story. Like it's so important. Hoyoung, it's even more important than Adele because the fly is like a massive part of your kit. Like you don't have an up jump, so like it's so important. Adele is just the float. You know what I mean? It's the float and more damage, but it's a lot. But yeah, I think you're right. Let's move it down more. You have up jump now? Oh, they added it? Oh, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. The fly is still really important though, and the passive still very, very important. The flame up jump skill, the from 4 shop, also resets the fly too. So there's some tech with that. Okay. Let's move on to Ice Lightning. So I actually have an Ice Lightning boss mule. Ice Lightning did recently get buffed, and I'm not gonna lie, the buff that it got was not that big, but the impact it has on playing Ice Lightning is huge. Like, even though the buff wasn't like it makes you OP or whatever, the impact in playing Ice Lightning, it's like a night and day difference. So the main thing that they changed was that the Lightning Orb, your 1 minute burst cooldown, the animation is so much faster. Like, you're not stuck in place and it feels slow. Like, it like comes out, goes like bzzz, and then you're done. And you can instantly move. Like, it's so nice. Like, that's like the biggest thing that I hated about this class is when you held down Lightning Orb, the animation was so slow and clunky and like you were stuck in place, and there was like a 1 second delay of when you could like get out of the skill. It was almost like the same as using like, you know how when you use Chains of Hell, DB does like this like weird fucking movement in place. Mm-hmm. It was like that, but like you couldn't move. It was like that when you use Lightning Orb. It was like so annoying. So now it's a lot better. But Ice Lightning still suffers from all of the other mage issues. Attack speed in her, needs a lot of buff duration. Like those two things just automatically gatekeep you from being like a convenient boss meal. Whereas I think the Ice Lightning performance is good. 1 minute burst cooldown, 2 minute big burst cooldown. So the cooldowns are really good, but because it's a mage, it can only go so far in my opinion. So I'm going to put it like right above FP. That's where I would put it.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I would put it. Mm-hmm.
I would put it below FP.
Really? Why would you put it below FP?
Because at least with FP, you have the option of like, you know, doing a budget -2 CD hat, 50 buff duration legendary. But for Ice Lightning, it's like, it's even more important that you have high buff duration because you want to be lighting up your, or you want to be using your affinity whenever you can to also stack it up so that when you do your big burst, you have the most FT possible.
Mm-hmm.
So like not having high buff duration on an Ice Lightning buff meal, like it is 2 minute, and you do have Lightning Orb every minute, but like it's the buff duration's hell. I have Ice Lightning boss meal. I haven't actually even played it yet this week. I was going to do that like or something. So I haven't tried out the new changes.
Dude, Lightning Orb feels so good now.
But I will say, like, I feel like for me, I don't hate the class, but I don't actually like really like it. I just made it as a boss meal because I had it made from a long, so it was just convenient for me to transition into a boss.
Yeah.
But because like, if you don't have like a progressed account, I think on a budget, Fire Poison probably is better on average.
Yeah.
Because of the options you have as fire poison, you opt for the 50 buff duration.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But you know, ice lightning is still pretty decent. You do have like that. They made the iframe bind short cooldown, didn't they?
Yeah, it's 2 minutes now instead of 3.
Oh my god, that's so okay.
It's so
that
good.
Makes it so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I would probably rate fire poison higher.
Okay, fair enough. IL has more toggles than FP, by the way. I just want to point that out. It's just annoying as fuck. Like, you just have to log in and press like 50 buttons. Okay, let's talk about Illium. So I don't think either of us play Illium. This is where Phil would step in because he's like the only freak Illium player. Now, if you're watching this video and you're Illium, that was a joke. Calm down. But the other thing about Illium is this class is broken as fuck. Like, simply put, this class got buffs, massive buffs this patch too. It was already pretty good, like pre-patch, but now it's even better. Like, it's actually like even stronger now. The only downside I would say about Illium, like the only thing that I could say about it is like maybe you just don't like the aesthetic or like the way the class plays where you have to like micromanage a little bit, right? Like that's like the only thing I would say. But other than that, the damage output's good. Future proofing on this class is very good. Yes, that's another thing that goes for it. And its survivability is really good too. You have like perma flying almost, which is like crazy for movement. Crystalline Bulwark is like another insane iframe. Yeah, I know Illium skills like that. Yeah. You have Longius Spear. That's another big cooldown or low cooldown big hitting.
Longinus, dude.
I thought it was Longius. I don't know how to say it, but that skill's like really good. Only downside is intro story quest. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it's not as bad as like Adele and Hoyoung though. Like that shit like you only gotta get to 30, bro. GMS doesn't use Longinus. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought y'all used that shit. Never mind. Intro quest takes ages. Right? You know how many times I've done that shit in my life, bro? It's actually so ass. Shitty teleport, but the teleport doesn't matter though. Like you have the fly. The flying is so good. Like, who the fuck cares, bro? I don't know where to rank it though. Like, part of me feels like it's OPAF, but the only thing holding it back is like, oh, actually, honestly, now that I think about it, the 0 to 30 quest line could be enough for people to not even try the class. Like straight up, like they're not even gonna give it a shot just because like they don't even want to do it. You know what I mean? So that alone could make it unoptimal. I'm not even trolling. Even though, like, everything about it is good, like, to play the class. But, like, realistically here, somebody could be watching this video. They're like, Duky told me to play Illium. And now I make the class. I'm stuck in this story. I don't want to play it. I want to do something else. You know what I mean? Like, it could be that simple. I'm not even trolling. Like, you got to be honest here. Yeah, but the thing about training, once 200 Illium, it's like training isn't really relevant these days. Like, at the end of the day, like, the only training you have to do is get to 101, and then the rest is just through events. But getting to that 101 on Illium is one of the worst ones in the whole game, bro. You need, like, perm uptime for 4 wings, so it's kind of shit for baby bosses. That's a good point, actually. Making one for the Link Seal anyway. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Dude, I'm actually so torn to where to put this because I know it's strong, right? But I really think somebody could just see the story quest and just not want to play it. Like, as simple as that. So I just don't even know where to put it, bro. Like, straight up. Illium's on YouTube. If you watch this in the future, let me know where you would have put it.
I don't know where I would put it because I don't have... Or I don't...
It's good at doing Damien. Like, that's really good at doing Damien.
Like, do you know anything about the gauge? Because I know it has a gauge.
It's,
like
it's easy as fuck. Like, you just gotta hit the boss. That's it. Like, it's not like a complex gauge.
Okay.
Guys, I'm gonna need your help on this one in chat. Where am I putting this shit? I actually have no idea. I'm so torn. Like, I know the performance is good, but like, People aren't even gonna try it. They're not even gonna try the class. They're legit not even gonna play it. You know what I mean? If we disregard their quest, it's very good. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? But like, what's the realistic like output? Like, they're just not even gonna fucking play it.
Unoptimal. It's actually no. Hoyoung and Adele should be unoptimal. No? Ah, wait, no, never mind.
Dude, the thing with Hoyoung and Adele is at the end of the day, you don't have to do it, right? You could not do it. It's gonna be worse, but you could not do it.
Okay, yeah, Illium just goes into unoptimal, like the lows of the low. I'm sorry.
No, I've done the story quest so many times. That's what I've done. Like that, I've done it a bunch of times. I understand, guys. Like I've done the story quest. Let me think. I've done it 4 times, guys. Like if anybody has suffered through Illium, it's me, bro. I've done it 4 fucking times. So like I know it's not the worst thing in the world, but like I know how players are. You know what I mean? They're gonna start it and be like, wow, this shit is ass. Like, you know, something as small as that stupid library map or like the main town where you have to like go up the portals and then sometimes you just fall off and your fly doesn't reach to the next platform. Dude, that's like the worst thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like that shit is so annoying, bro. Like it's so annoying. I just did that as a new player. I was suffering.
Just throw it in on optimal, dude. Like, let me ask you this: if it were not for the story, is it OPAF?
No, I don't think it's OPF, but I think it's very good. If there was no story, I think it'd be very good at least. Straight up, I think it'd be like between Hero and Aran. Be somewhere there. All
right, unoptimal then. Because if
unoptimal's so harsh, like I don't know.
No, because if it weren't for the story, and you were to put it in OPF, then I would agree to put it above unoptimal. But because it isn't OPF, if we were to disregard the story, then it can only be an unoptimal because you're spending 30 minutes or more if you're fucking ass, dude, getting out of the fucking level 30 quest.
All right, fine. Guys, I tried. Yet again, the Illiums. Yet again, I tried. The same shit happened when we were doing the class analysis. I tried, guys. I tried.
Dude, Beck has spoken.
No, I know. Go, I noticed, bro. Low key. Chills, bro. I noticed.
There you go.
Chills, bro. Chills. Z-Beck, bro. Chills. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on, bro. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Kain.
Chills, bro. Kain, bro. Dude, Kain is so broken. This class is OP. This class is broken for no reason. And if you want to future-proof, this thing is also broken. This thing has very good 90-second, very good 3-minute, good off-burst, too. This thing is broken as fuck. You will know Kain. Bro, stop. I think this thing is broken as hell. Straight up. Like, what is there even to say about Kain? Like, maybe it's a little hard to play because it has a bunch of skills that you need to learn what they do. But like, who the fuck cares? Like, just learn what the skills do. Like, it's not like they're like complicated. You just need to know what they do.
I don't have one as a boss meal. I know it's a really strong end game class, but I have no idea how it performs in a 220 setting.
It's good in the low setting as well because it's 90 and 3-minute are very strong. Like, you can think of it like DB. Like, it's 90 and 3-minute are very strong. And it probably has better off-burst, too. Also, the movement's really good. It has Dark Sight, too. On command, by the way. On command Dark Sight. Not just regular Dark Sight. It has on command Dark Sight, too. With its stupid-ass dash. Actually, like, if you can't tell, I hate Kain. Like, this shit's too OP. That's why. I'm just jealous.
Yeah, Kain's really the main character.
Yeah, it is. Dude, Kain is also potential man, too. Kain is also potential man because...
It's a shonen MC, dude. Like,
yeah, actually. Like, the potential is crazy. Like, with the upcoming 6-job Hexa Masteries and stuff like that, too. Like, Kain's potential is also insane. Like, it's like a safe pick, future-proof class as well, if you ever want to play it in the future. But even as a boss meal, it's really, really good. Plus, Kain sits with the patties at the lunch table. Nah. Those who know, bro. Those who know. Are you okay with this spot?
I don't have one as a boss meal. I only know that it's strong in the end game. So
I
when
see.
it comes to like node investments or like IAs or like buff duration or
Oh
like
no, it's
artifacts.
IA. It's IA is good. IA is good. It doesn't need anything special. It doesn't need like it doesn't need buffer attack speed or you know what I mean. Like this shit doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Kanna. So the thing about Kanna is like, I feel like a lot of people will just immediately write this class off, but I feel like it's a really good boss meal. I'm not even trolling. Like in terms of like performance. Okay, let me be specific. The Kanna damage output for solo is pretty good, right? Especially with 2-minute Sakunos these days. But it has a learning curve. Like you really should learn how to weave on Kanna, right? So if you don't want to do that, you want to just hold on Shikigami Charm. Probably don't want to do it. Probably would not recommend it if you just want to hold on Shikigami Charm and or maybe just press Vanquishers every minute. Dude, there was a dude in here who said that they just press Vanquishers every minute and then they just AFK. I'm not even trolling, bro. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Shit was unbelievable.
I feel like this is like a gets job done moment.
Mm-hmm. I think it's similar to Hayato in the sense of like you have to learn how to play it. 2-minute Sakuno makes it super strong, but it's more convenient than Hayato because it doesn't have like a stack that you have to keep up.
Another weird thing is that we
also has 2
have
binds.
we have current version. Our current version of Kanna is that it's still what we know, except now Sakuno is 2 minutes. But as we also know, Kanna got big changes from our other friends in Maple Sea.
Yeah, but that doesn't
where-
affect solo that much though. Right? It's just domain is solo and then boss barrier is 10% boss less. Or was there something else?
Your cooldowns line up better, doesn't it, with the MC version? Because 180 domain. And
Yeah, 180 domain. Yeah.
I don't remember if Vanquisher is fixed or not in Maple. Fixed in the sense that the cooldowns are sticking the moment you use it, and not when you let go
Mm-hmm.
with the Cadena. Also,
It's not. Okay.
Sengoku Force is so much better in Maple Sea than it is.
God, please port that over, please, begging. And then the survivability on Kanna is crazy as well. It also has a super good TP. Kanna TP is really good. Being 2 fans for a meal is looking pretty annoying. Isn't it just a normal fan now? Or is it just a normal secondary, but it's just also a fan? What's the difference? You just have to flame and star it? You can just throw like a rinky dink CRA fan in the second slot, call it a day. I don't think it's like that big of a deal. I think it was worse before because before you could only get like a magic attack on your Haku secondary. But now that it's a regular secondary, you can get boss and value from that.
I think the reason why my initial gut reaction putting it in gets job done is that this class heavily depends on how well you can, like if you can weave well, it does really well.
Yeah.
If you don't weave well, that's
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not going to put it any higher than that. I was going to put in gets job done as well because I think the weaving is too big of like a requirement for the average person to really get there. Like if you want to play and you just want to hold on Shikigami Charm, like it's just not optimal.
Yeah, this class has no IED
Yeah.
in its entire kit.
That's why you got to roll 2 lines, bro.
Your first lick of IED from the class kit is when you get level 40 boost on your nodes.
It's funny. That's so funny, actually, to think about. And level 10 origin.
I mean, you get it from Sengoku Force until they change it, but that's RNG.
Yeah, you gotta hope.
Yeah, I think where it is right now probably makes sense.
Okay.
Because you also want high level Sakano too.
Yeah. I mentioned that about Hayato. I should have mentioned that about this too. Node Eater. Because you need a Max Sakuno and Sengoku Force. Both of them very important. Yeah, the origin ID is only for the origin. Yeah, I was just trying to make a joke. All right, let's talk about Kaiser.
Kaiser Impact.
I mean, Kaiser is like a very straightforward boss meal. Like, it's just another very easy, consistent DPS class. So, In my opinion, I think it's a really good boss meal. It has very good movement as well with its TP, and it has a really good iframe as well with Ancestral Prominence. It's just very easy to play. It's a very easy, consistent DPS class. Like that's like as good of a thing you could get. Another downside though is it's definitely a buff duration class. Like you need buff duration just like the mages. I think you run attack speed inner as well. So like you need the really good inner ability. Because you need the really good inner ability, it's only so high that I could rank it because of those like little inconveniences. But I definitely think it's very good. I think it's at least very good. I would play it above. I would easily play it above all the get job done as a boss meal. Now I don't remember where. I don't know where I would put it exactly in terms of very good. I feel like it's probably like right here. Just because of the inner ability requirement for it to feel really, really good. And high legion.
What?
What?
You put Kaiser higher than BAM and CM? Really? As a boss meal?
I would, bro. I feel like its consistent damage is really, really good. BAM and CM are more like... Well, actually, I would put CM over BAM. BAM is kind of like a 90-second. And then CM is like pretty consistent with the bullets. But I feel like because Kaiser's more consistent, I would value that more personally.
Okay, I mean, I don't even have a Kaiser on my account, so.
That's crazy.
I fucking hate Kaisers, dude.
I agree. I agree. If you were Kaiser watching this, you're my op, bro. I agree. BadDragon.com discount code Kaiser.
Demonetized.
No. I'm gonna have to edit that out. You're right. I'm not even lying.
Just put redacted.
Yeah, I might have to edit that out. I gotta try to remember that. You're not even wrong. Like they might demonetize just for that. or the video gets age restricted. Like one or the other.
Okay. Anyways, Khali.
Okay, so I had a Khali boss meal before. The biggest downside for me, I remember when I was playing it, was that it was so much effort for nothing. Like you just like had to play this whack-a-mole class that was like pretty overwhelming with how much APM it needed for like no damage. But now that I got a massive buff this patch, I feel like it's really good. The other what's a whack-a-mole class? You're right. I probably should have explained what a whack-a-mole class is. So what a whack-a-mole class is basically you have like 4 to 6 skills, or maybe like Cadena. Cadena has like 8 skills. That you're just constantly spamming those skills as soon as they're up. Like as soon as the skill comes up, like you press it. Like it's kind of like whack-a-mole. Like the mole is the skill. As soon as it comes up, you press it, right? And it just keeps coming up, and different spots keep pressing it. And you're just constantly looking at your cooldowns because you just keep having to spam these skills over and over. Khali's a whack-a-mole class because you need a cooldown hat and you need cooldown skip, which could be a downside for doing this as a boss field because it needs a little bit more funding than like a BowMaster that doesn't need any of that shit. But if you do decide to fund it, you're going to get rewarded a lot more because the damage went up a lot. Merc is a whack-a-mole. Merc is less of a whack-a-mole because it's more like a rotation of skills instead of just like whack-a-mole. Like Arc is whack-a-mole. Cadena's kind of whack-a-mole. Khali's whack-a-mole. Fire Poison is whack-a-mole. Yes, Fire Poison is whack-a-mole.
I don't know where to put Khali. I have a Khali boss meal. It's actually like pretty funded too. Like, it's just it just does end slime and blow. It's even like so no G skills. It can almost zero test. I think it would zero test if I was just better at the class. It is really fun, but on the comment that you're putting in a lot of effort to get not much out of it, that's definitely not true anymore. But
yeah,
it's hard for me to judge that to say much about that because my Khali is so funded. Like it has -2 hat, has CD skip. I have maxed out artifact CD skip on it too, so I'm CD skipping a lot, and it's really fun when you do get to do that. But like the average Khali boss meal experience, I feel like most people probably are only going to make a Khali because they thought it was cool and they watched someone else play it. and then they were willing to put in the effort to like get better at it because, it's just like because it's cool, they want to get better at it, and when they get better at it, it's more fun for them.
Yeah.
But not everyone's looking to do that, right? Like not everyone's willing to just do a boss meal because just because it's cool. Actually, no, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but there is a lot of effort involved with it. But with the buffs, it definitely is more rewarding. And if you do put in like the funds into it, like even if you omit the CD hat and you just go for the cooldown skip on the IA, it goes a long way.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, 100%. Like it's you get way more value these days from this class. I think it's really good. Like I think it would be probably next to Dark Knight because Dark Knight we still put in very good, but has pretty high requirements, right? So I feel like it's like right under Dark Knight. I would play this over all these.
Yeah, this class is whack-a-mole and weaving. Like
Yeah.
A lot of weaving.
Whack-a-mole and weaving. It has a low cooldown iframe that's really convenient. It has a good 90-second. Has good short cooldown skills with the purple like spinny V skill. That one's like a very good hard-hitting low cooldown skill. And then it has good 3-minute obviously with the void burst.
Yeah, it does need a bit to get going, but it's worth it if you're willing to put in effort to actually like get like decent at the class.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on and talk about Kinesis. So Kinesis got changes this patch as well. I think one of the most underrated changes for this class was they made the icosahedron skill. Like it doesn't move. And it terminates quickly. Like all the damage gets outputted a lot faster now, which is really good. And
now.
yeah, it got condensed. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. And it got buffed just in general. Like the damage went up as well. So I actually think Kinesis is really good. Like in terms of like a boss meal these days, relative to what it used to be. Kinesis has like underrated movement as well, which means like underrated survivability with the jaunt. And then it has a really good iframe as well with its hyper. I think it's an 8-second iframe, which is like pretty long. So if you want to like, it's a good panic button. And then in terms of like nodes, like none of that shit even matters anymore just because of the perfect trios. Like you just craft them, so it's easy as fuck. It has a good low cooldown hitting skill when you use your I don't know what it's called, psychic grab I think, but like you're basically your main attack skill. And then I think if you hold down, it does like if you hold it up, it like throws them out forward. But I think if you hold it down, it throws them like in a line forward, and that's like the bossing one. And that one, I think it does a lot of damage. Or like it's good for like low cooldown, big hitting skills if you're able to just run through bosses. So for me, I think Kinesis is a very good boss meal these days. In the past, I've put it. Where did I put it before? I put it like right in the middle in the past, but I think it's definitely gone up. I would put it like right behind CM. Because I think CM has better low cooldown, big hitting skills than Kinesis. I think they made the PP easier to manage too.
I have no idea where to rate Kinesis because yeah, I made one as a link skill a long time ago. So it's probably been like years since I logged onto it ever. But yeah, I guess that's where you would put it.
Yeah, that's definitely
Did
where
you talk about the movement where it's like
yeah, I did. The up jump, the third flash jump.
The airwalk is kind of
yeah. That's the jaunt skill. No, it's good. It's not even jank. Like it's just straight up good. It's actually like sleeper OP. Yeah, their mana system is called PP. It's not funny, guys.
Psychic power.
Psychic power, PP. All right, let's move on to Lara. So I have a Lara boss mule. I've played Lara a lot. Lara got massive buffs this patch. And I know all the Lara's watching me like, and Duky's probably just gonna put Lara in the bottom like he always does. Like this guy hates Lara, blah blah blah. I don't. I actually think the Lara boss mule is really, really, really good. And I'll tell you why the Lara boss mule is really good. So some of the changes that they made, obviously they just essentially just gave it a bunch of FD, right? So it's just a lot stronger now. But there's like a couple little things that they did. They made it so that their big stretch skill, instead of needing 5 veins around you to get maximum damage, you only need 4, which is actually very convenient because that means you don't have to use one of your custom vein spawning skills all the time. Or not all the time, but sometimes you have to use it to get the 5th big stretch, and then you lose 1 stack to do it. But you don't have to do that. It's just 4. So you're always able to get the maximum amount. Yeah, thank you, Taco. So I think that's really good. I think that's really, really good. The other thing is its 3-minute burst got a lot stronger. Its consistent damage got stronger with Surging Essence, only on like a 25-second cooldown. All his V skills got stronger. Mountain Ridge does a lot of damage. I'm close to putting it in OPAF, right? Like I'm very close to putting it in OPAF. The only reason I might not want to put it there is because it still has micromanaging. Like you gotta make sure that you are constantly rebuffing with the sun buff and the wind buff, and constantly replacing your summons all the time. Like that's the only thing that I would consider like maybe a downside to this class, because it's like a little bit annoying with the micromanaging your summons and buffs. But other than that, I think the kit is really good and the damage is really good too. That's what I would do. So I'm torn between the OPAF and very good. I don't know which one to put it in though. Also has super stance every time you interact with your vein, so it almost has perm super stance.
I don't think it's an OP enough.
Okay. Why?
Just cause.
So weird, bro. Just cause. Okay. Lara is not gender locked. I'm putting it up here, bro.
Okay, bro.
Yep. We did it, guys. Us Laras, we made it. You're a boy, Lara. Yikes. All right, let's talk about Luminous. Now, I think, like I said about a few other classes, I think Luminous is a really easy one to just quickly write off and be like, this is dog shit, don't play it. But hear me out for a second. Lumi's cooldowns low-key aren't even that bad. Like, in terms of, like Conduit is on a low-ass cooldown. Nah, who am I kidding? This shit's on optimal, bro.
Buff duration.
Yeah, fuck this class. Who am I kidding, bro? This shit is unoptimal, bro. You need buff duration. You need attack speed. You gotta be like right in front of the boss to hit it. Like fucking, you have to manage your gauge and shit for gate to even be up in the first place. And your other 2 V skills are 3-minute baptism and lib orbs. Actually, I don't think baptism is 3-minute. I think baptism is 90 or something. But yeah, and also it does no damage. That too. Very important to mention. Also does no damage. So who am I kidding, guys? What do you think about Lumi?
Yeah, I think that's probably where it belongs. It requires a lot of resources to even be good, and even when it has the resources, it's not even good.
Bro never pressed baptism in his life. Corsair pressing less summons. Lumi, bro. All right, let's move on and talk about Lynn. OPAF, bro. Let's move it back down for a second though, so I could do the timestamps easier. Yeah, so the reason why, so I have a Lynn boss meal. You have one too, right?
That's kind of set up. I don't even play it because there was no reason to until potentially now because of 15 boss meal minute.
I see. Okay. Is story mandatory for Lynn? Dude, I think it is. Dude, that's a good point.
Oh.
Okay, the thing is, the Lynn story is nowhere near as bad as Illium, though. Like that, the Lynn one is like. What do you mean no?
Getting lost.
Oh, who cares about the third job hidden portal, bro? That's not even that big of a deal. I knew you were gonna bring that up, bro, because they don't. Bro, that. It literally teleports you to the map, and then the hidden portal's right in the middle, and then people just don't realize that it's there, but it's literally right there. Like,
no, it's because there's monsters in that map, so they think, okay, I gotta kill these monsters because they teleported me here, and then there is a quest that requires they kill those monsters, so they're flash jumping around, and then they finish that quest, and they go hand it in, and they're like, well, where do I go now? Because that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to other people.
Dude, I don't know, bro, because Lynn, like... Okay, so it goes back to what you were saying, like, oh, if you remove the story, would Illium be OPAF? If you remove the story off Lynn, it definitely is OPAF. Like, it definitely is. Oh my god, bro, I'm actually, like, stressing out over this, because, you know what's another thing I realized? Is probably more than half the people that watch this video aren't even going to listen to anything that we're saying right now, and they're just going to go to the end, screenshot the tier list, see Lynn is in an unoptimal, and think I'm a fucking idiot, bro. Like... I'm actually cooked, bro, no matter what I do. Yo, that's true! Kimfef really gave me an out. Bro, you're doing Lynn for Link skill regardless. It's mandatory. You're gonna have a high level regardless. True. True. But not Illium. Low-key, some classes don't even use Illium Link for bossing. It's good for training, though. Same shit with Illium. Dude, that's a good point. It is the same shit with You're right, bro. For training, you need Illium Link. Dude, that's true. Exclamation point links. Illium's the second one.
No, this is some insane copium.
How is this copium? You need to do it for the link skills. You're going to have at least a level 120 Illium no matter what, right? You have to do the story at some point. I stand still when I train. I don't use Illium. Dog Link. Okay, but like, let's be honest here. That's because you're higher level with Janice. Dude. Okay. Fuck Illium. Let's not talk about it. Let's stick to Lynn. You have to get the Lynn link. Like, right? Like, you have to do the Lynn story anyways. So I don't think the Lynn story debuffs Lynn that much. Right? Like, I'm cooking right now, right? I think Lynn's OPAF. You need link skill. You need the Lynn link skill, so you're going to have to do the story no matter what. So because you have to do the story no matter what, then it doesn't affect the creation of the boss meal, because you have to do the story no matter what. And then if we want to talk about the bossing performance on Lynn, first of all, the nodes are the easiest in the whole game. It has the easiest nodes in the entire game. Every single node you open is a perfect trio by default. And then, in terms of bossing, dude, its main attack skill does so much damage for no reason. Its damage distribution is like a completely flat line. Like, it just does an insane amount of damage for no reason. The Awaken FD buff is good, even at low FD. Like, it's still... I think there's like a bare minimum to it that makes it good. It has a shit ton of healing, has its shielding as well. It has very good movement with the bird. You could flash jump every single bird dash. So the movement is underrated as well on this. Its burst is so easy to do. You just press like 3 buttons and then hold down your main attack. You also have an anti-one-shot buff as well, so you don't die. So I think it's really good.
Nodes don't matter anymore. You can craft.
Yeah, but you don't even have to craft it on this. Like, you just open like 10 nodes and you have your perfect trios. Okay, we'll talk about Illium again later. We'll go back to it. Let's just focus on the current classes at hand. I've never read any lore in this game. Then why do you know the Black Mage is the op? Yup, caught. Are you okay with that for Lynn?
Sure.
Okay. Yo, tell me he's a Lynn op.
Well, there was a Lynn in my party when I got my TC.
Dude, you should be thanking Lynn then. Dude, Lynn has bonus drop rate too. This low-key like a premium future-proof boss man. I thought like he was a really strong sparring partner. Yeah, he's actually a good and chill dude. Alright, let's talk about Marksman. Boom! OPAF. The thing about Marksman is not only did it get a massive buff recently, it's very similar to BowMaster, except it's not a Hurricane class. So it's a 2-minute burst, has a good, nice long burst with split shot. It's very easy, has a short condensed burst with cartridge. It's near unkillable because it has a dummy that works on a lot of bosses. You have this dummy called Arrow Illusion that you could place it down, and it makes certain bosses just target the dummy and not you. So you just literally hit the boss and nothing can hit you at all. It's so OP. It's so broken. Nodes are super easy. Doesn't matter that much because of you can craft your shit, but even if you don't want to craft it, you'll hit your stuff here. Very good TP. Has air stall. Consistent damage with like the fucking Vayne W on its snipe ability, where every third one is like a big one. It has a bonus Hero's Will too, which is low-key nice. Like it's like a sleeper good thing. Have an extra Hero's Will. You never know when you need that shit. Yeah, the only downside would be the inner ability. Yes, it does need attack speed inner, which just like AB, like, you know, we mentioned it still needs attack speed inner, but it's still fine. Like, it's still, honestly, even if you don't get that attack speed inner, it's still fine, even without it. But you definitely should get it, though. It's not a node eater either. Like, I think, one of the V skills, you could just keep it at level 1, too, and it's not that big of a deal for boss meleeing. The bird one. Yeah, their iframe does blow up the baby bosses, the hyper skill. Or no, I don't know if it's a hyper skill or if it's one of their V skills. But the one that you like point and click, that shit is so strong.
That's a V skill.
Oh, it's a V skill. Okay. Yeah, that one is so strong. I mean, that's where I would put it. This shit's OP as hell.
Yeah, I have one as a boss meal. It does N10 and below. It could do C10, but it would just take too long.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for me to notice the buffs because I just came out of Night Troops. But because I still felt like I was like kind of the same strength, that just goes to tell you how big the buffs were. Yeah. Yeah, it's a solid boss meal. I will say though, it does feel really clunky. Like it does have like the same movement options as BowMaster, but the big difference between BowMaster and Marksman is that BowMaster is a Hurricane class, whereas Marksman, like you sit in your attack animation, and it feels like it takes forever. Like I have a lot of boss meals, and a lot of them are able to just start moving immediately. But for Marksman, like you really feel like everything you do stuns you.
Yeah.
Like you really feel like you're stuck in place. But that's why you have like Arrow Illusion, which is the dummy skill, to try to hold aggro for you, so you can just hold down your attack button and just chill. But there will be times where it's like if you're, you know, not being attentive, you're gonna die because you were caught in the middle of your snipe enemy.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And the movement options aren't bad. Like I said, it's the same as BowMaster's options, but the fact that you're stuck in animation a lot, not having like a instant way to move outside of teleporting to your thing that you can place down as a explorer archer, or actually that's just BowMaster and Marksman exclusive, I think. Not having any other option to move quickly sucks. But like you said, that's why you have like an extra will, which is super nice to have. But yeah, it's just super clunky. That's like the one gripe I have about this class. It's just super clunky.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think, I don't know, with max attack speed, like, for me, it didn't feel that bad. Like, the clunkiness. It wasn't, like, something that made me hate it.
You definitely have to get used to it.
Yeah, you definitely should get used to it. I agree. It's definitely you're going to have to get used to. Because each shot feels very, like, big. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, each shot. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it. It feels like a thump. It's crazy. True. NX optimization. Yeah, it's an explorer. True. You could transfer pets. All right, let's talk about mech.
Unoptimal.
You think so?
No, I'm just saying that because their goddess is broken right now.
Oh, really?
They can't use goddess at all for some reason.
Wait, like specifically just mech can't use goddess?
Yeah, just mech.
The fuck?
It's so random. I know. Like it's not even like a non-KMS class.
That's so random. Like, what the fuck? Dude, might have to put it in unoptimal just for that, bro. Low-key. Anyways, I mean, what are the pros on mech? So mech pros are very good movement, underrated movement, very safe burst, like your iframe when you burst, so it's very safe. I think your hyper skill has a pretty low cooldown, big hitting skill as well, like low cooldown, big hitting skill, so that's very convenient. Missiles are like sleeper damage as well. Obviously, support got nerfed, so it's like that's ass, but like who cares when you're doing a boss battle? It's not that big of a deal. Downsides is probably the ugliest class in the whole game. Like, I'm sorry, I have to mention that. It's probably the ugliest class in the whole game. So that's definitely a downside. And low-key, some mechs be using a foot pedal just to hold down missiles. Like, play it optimally, you might need like a foot pedal.
Hey, Black Friday, you can get one off Amazon.
That's true. That's true. I still think it's a really good boss meal though. Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't have like giga funding requirements. It's pretty straightforward. Maybe replacing summons is something that you don't like, but I think everything else makes it really good.
Yeah, I don't really have much to comment about besides the fact that you have to hold on to the missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Which can be annoying. It's a 2-minute class, right?
I actually don't even know.
I'm
I
pretty
thought
sure
it
it
was
is.
3 minute.
Because it's the big like. Oh, it's 3
3.
minutes?
Yeah, I thought it was 3
What?
minute.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know much about this class. Outside of like it gives FD
Mm-hmm.
as an IED debuff, and it has someone's little robots. Does it have like a off burst?
Yeah, they have their hyper skill. I forgot what it's called though. That's like pretty good. I'm trying to look at the skill names. I don't remember what it's called.
Is it the ball or is that a fifth job? I don't remember.
Oh, the battery. Yes, the battery. Yes, I'm thinking of the battery skill. Yes, like they have a skill that's like very low cooldown. That's like big hitting. Their battery skill. That thing is nice. Yeah, 25-second cooldown. It's like fire poison. Yeah, that shit is very nice. That's what makes it like a good boss meal, because you have like a skill that hits pretty hard every 25 seconds. So that for me, like I think that's very important because it has a good like cooldown. It has a good cooldown that works for boss mealing. You could just run through bosses with that low cooldown, and then you have your big burst every 180, and then you have a really good. You have like an even good like mini burst too. Doesn't like Doomsday Device last for like 2 minutes or something, right? Like, isn't that shit like a giga long duration? Or am I tripping? Yeah, but there's no damage. Okay.
I just don't know much about that.
Yeah, the mecha carrier lasts for 70 seconds, right? So like, you have these like long-lasting like damage skills too. I mean, for me, I would put it in automatically in very good, just because it's not too hard to play. It has a low cooldown, big hitting skill, good movement, which means good survivability, and a really safe burst. And it doesn't have any special funding requirements like attack speed buff or anything weird like that.
Okay.
Cooldown hat class? That's true. Definitely need a cooldown hat. That's only one thing though. All good though. Okay, let's talk about Mercedes. I have a Mercedes boss meal and I think it's dog shit. I think it's ass. I think this is just like one of the worst boss meals you can make. Now, the reason why I think it's one of the worst boss meals you can make is because there's no damage off spirits. So it has like the Night Lord problem where like once your burst is down, I feel like it doesn't do anything. But what about if you have a -2 hat and you could combo? It's like, guys, I have a -2 hat, I combo 2 and it does nothing. Like, this class does no damage off burst. Simply put, it does no damage off burst. The 90-second with your little donkey coming back up, it also doesn't do anything. Like, this is like a burst class. Maybe you could get through like 2 bosses, like your bigger Kala's Wrath burst, and then your next boss you still have spirits and you're good. But like after that, you're just doing nothing, bro. So I think it's unoptimal because of that, straight up. Also, like, there's just a little bit of a learning curve too. Like, you have to learn how to combo. It's not too hard if you get a -2 hat, but then you have a -2 hat requirement to make it easier. So it has a little bit more funding requirement. So for me, I think it's just unoptimal.
Okay.
But you could
Makes
go
sense
up
to
ropes
me.
real fast. Yeah, true. This is the worst take. Yo, Kenny, stop. You don't know anything about this game. Stop. Also, low-key, it's easy to mess up your burst too, so then you're just giga bricked. Alright, Mihile. Dude, this class is broken. This class is OP. It got a fat buff dispatch. Like, straight up, this class is OP. Has good 90-second, good 180, good consistent damage, can't die. Very easy to play. The only thing that I would say about Mihile is that it's probably boring as fuck for a lot of people. Just because, like, you're just, like, pressing the same shit, like, every, like, 3-4 seconds or something. That's, like, the only thing. So you have your... Oh, go ahead.
I used to have a Mihile boss meal,
Mm-hmm.
and then, yeah, I stopped playing it because it was just so boring.
Yeah. That's like the one thing, is that it's just boring as fuck. Yeah, this shit's boring as fuck. Like, I don't know. That's like the one thing about Mihile. Like, I think its performance is really good. I think that the performance is undeniable. In the past, I've put it as a top tier boss meal. I would still put it at the top. Like, I think if you want to play Mihile, strictly performance wise, it's so good. It's got low cooldown skills that hit really hard. It's got good 3-minute, good 90-second as well. Unkillable class, good consistent damage. It just got buffed as well. If you like Mihile, then you're gonna really like it as a boss meal. But I just think because of it's boring as fuck. Like, I just want to point that out. At least that's what I found it to be, boring as fuck. I think its burst skill lasts like 35 seconds or something. I think it's 35 seconds, and then every 90-second you have like you have your Light of Courage, I believe.
The 90 seconds is just the overshield, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that gives you damage. It gives you like, I think it's like a damage buff too.
Nice.
And then I I guess this doesn't really matter. I was gonna mention it's Hero's Echo, but it doesn't really matter in this case.
Yeah, I think it definitely. I don't know. There's probably an argument for OPAF versus very good.
Mm-hmm.
Because roll guard is like a very good off-burst skill. The performance of Mihile greatly depends on your ability to roll guard. It means it requires you to understand the boss's patterns, and also
They made
the
it
timing
easy though. Like to royal guard, it's like there's a lot of forgivingness. But you're right. What you're saying is right though.
All right.
Okay.
Night Lord.
I mean, this is immediately unoptimal. This is like Mercedes, but just worse. Now the thing about actually, it's better than Mercedes. I lied. It's better. The reason why,
sure?
yeah, it definitely is better, 100%, because they made Dark Lord's Ornament 90-second like pretty good. It still has Shuriken every 25 seconds, right? Like it still has that at least, and it has the tags that proc every like 10 seconds or so when you're autoing. Like there's at least there's that, right? But the thing about Night Lord is I don't recommend it. I have a Night Lord boss meal, and this thing is straight up miserable to play. It is straight up miserable. I think it's better than everything in Optimal. It's not that bad anymore. Dude, I don't know, bro. I play this shit and I fucking hate it. Like, to this day. I think one of the worst things about Night Lord that makes it so miserable to play is if you are not at the burst threshold that you need to clear something. Like, let's say you're doing Lotus and you do your burst in P1 and there's like 20% left of P1 or 25% left of P1. Oh my god, bro. It's actually the worst thing ever because you're not strong enough to just DPS out and then you would need to use another burst to get out. Now, they made it a little less bad because you have, what's it called? You have, what's it called? Skipping the cutscene. You could skip the cutscene now. You can skip the cutscene. So, like, on bosses that have multiple phases, you can skip the cutscene and then immediately, like, continue your burst. But it's still annoying as fuck. If you're not at the right burst threshold, this class is so miserable to play. Like, it's actually, like, so miserable to play if you don't have the right burst threshold. That's how I feel about Night Lord, straight up. I think it's just unoptimal. I wouldn't recommend people to do a level 220 Night Lord boss meal. I think if you want to invest further, it has good future proofing, but I think at low, it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it.
The biggest thing about Night Lord is that you need to have max nodes for your skills because the duration of fucking spread throw scales with the level of it.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
If you have low level spread throw, the duration is lower. It's just ass. And like you said about the burst thresholds, I tried doing C Slime on my Night Lord, and it can clear it just fine. But my god, like when I do the second test on it, after it's finished bursting, there's 10% left. I can't do that 10%.
Yeah.
I have to wait for testing.
Frustrating that is? Like, that's like, dude, it's the worst thing ever, bro. Like, oh my god, bro. That's legit the worst thing ever. I don't give a fuck what you guys are saying in chat. Like, oh, I'm gonna crash out. Like, shut up, bro. No, this shit is like, no, this shit is so ass. Like, especially the burst threshold shit is so bad. The thing about Night Lord is it also has the opposite effect sometimes. If you can burst and like, you're strong, oh my god, it feels so satisfying to play. Like, that's the other thing about Night Lord. It's like, if your burst is strong
polarizing
enough, yes, it's very
high highs,
polarized.
low lows.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. High highs and low lows. Yes, that's like the perfect way to describe this class. I mean, it's just unoptimal. Like, there's just so many better options. It's as simple as that. Like, so there you go. Okay, let's move on to Nightwalker on the other hand. I mean, this shit's broken as fuck, straight up. Like, at the end of the day, like, Nightwalker is just such a strong class, simply put, right? It's not even necessarily about the 3-minute burst, right? Like, everybody looks at Nightwalker and they're just like, oh, the burst is so broken, But, like, it's everything else that makes it so good for boss mealing, right? GDS has such a low cooldown and high uptime, right? In terms of, like, you just place it down and your damage is so much more. Dude, spears last, like, fucking forever, bro. Like, especially if you want to split your burst on Nightwalker, this is such a good class to split burst on. If you're running through multiple bosses in a row, like you could do your GDS Dominion, Shadow Illusion, like rapid throw burst, and then you could, you know, next boss you pop your spears, and you're still like maintain a high DPS output if you want to go about it that way. Or you could do your big burst if you're just trying to burst down a boss like Damien Phase 1 or something. It has a class bind, which is really good. Has a door, which is really good. Has a shield, which is really good. Obviously has dark sight. All that shit. The only thing that I would say is maybe a little bit bad about Nightwalker is once your spears are down, you don't have GDS down, like maybe like 30 seconds before your next burst comes up. Definitely doesn't feel good. Definitely doesn't feel good. And then the other thing is, like, you probably have to learn the class at least a little bit. You have to learn about, you have to make sure your shadow momentum stays up. You have to make sure your shadow by FD stays up. So those are like the couple things that I would mention. So I don't know if I'm gonna put it in very good or OPAF, because I think it's OPAF, but like if somebody wants to put it in just very good, like I could see that angle, but I personally think it's OPAF.
I think it's the OPAF angle, because if you're gonna put Kain in there, like there's no way you don't put Nightwalker in there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because I feel like Nightwalker just does what Kain does, but better in this con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lifesteal, backstep into dark sight on command.
Mm-hmm.
Overshield. Class bind.
Mm-hmm.
90 seconds. Big burst. Burst lasts long. Teleport to GDS. Double flash jump. Momentum cancel on flash jump.
Mm-hmm.
Has door. Bro's the fucking Cassante of Maplestory, dude.
Shout out Cassante, bro. Fuck that champ. Yeah, I'm okay with that. All right, let's move on to Paladin. I mean, you know Paladin more than me, but gut feeling is telling me that Paladin is not that crazy. I feel like it's like just gets the job done. It got buffed though.
Yeah, I feel like it's. I used to have I used to play my Paladin boss mule. I might play it again because of the 15 boss mule meta.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest gripe I had with Paladin was that it basically just felt like Night Lord but tanky.
Yeah.
Like you get your big burst out, like you get your freaking Grand Guardian, feels great.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you're just fucking. You have a hammer, but you're just. It's like you have a blow like a little rubber hammer, like that you can blow up. like. But during your 90s though, during your Divine Echo, they buffed that a lot now. I think in this current patch, so that feels a lot better. Like your 90 burst actually feels pretty satisfying now.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it wasn't before, but it's even that point is even more sharp now. That your 90s feel a lot more important. But because Paladin is kind of designed to be like with another class at the very least, you're losing out on like 20 FD if you don't link someone, which sucks. And again, this is a boss. So, I think this is probably like the very top of gets the job. Because it kind of suffers like similar issues to Night Lord and Mercedes, where you have big 3-minute, you do have 90s, but the 90s and Paladins is probably like better than the classes that are in gets job done. The nodes are pretty simple. But you can craft them now. That's kind of whatever. Yeah, it's just. I don't think I can really rate it higher than this. Because it is a boss meal at the end of the day. It has class bind. That's cool. That's about it.
That's funny.
Has Sacro, but like. Sacro is as important as it. The value of Sacro is whatever you value it at. If you're really bad or like you really want to ignore patterns, then it could be really, really good and attractive. But if you don't really need to rely on it, it's like there. Just
off Echo Pally feels worse than off Spirit Merc. Oh hell no, bro. That's fucking crazy. Dude, mechanic is really good. Like, if you think mechanic's not good, you just don't know mech. Like, it's really good. In terms for boss smealing. Okay, I'm okay with that. Let's move on to Pathfinder. So I used to have a Pathfinder boss meal. Pathfinder is my, like, golden child overall, like, good at everything class. Like, if I think of a class, it's just, like, good at everything, I think of PF. Like, it's just, like, has a good enough burst, good enough support, good enough consistent damage, good enough movement survivability. It's like all just good enough. It's also like easy to play. It's a 2-minute class that's really easy to play, good consistent damage, and has obviously Goddess being on 2-minute now helps this class a lot too. And it has a very, very good survivability and OP movement with I forgot what their skill is called, the dash teleport skill.
I don't remember what it's called either. Torrent?
Torrent, yeah, Torrent.
Is it Torrent? Yeah,
Torrent. Yeah. So they have like that skill is broken as hell. Like if you try Torrent, like it just feels really good to use on PF. I think PF is probably just very good. It's probably just very good, and it's most likely like right under hero. So PF I think did get buffed this patch. And it's very easy to play. Good damage as well. Nodes are brain dead. I mean, there's nothing really bad I could say about it. I don't even think it's boring because I think it looks cool.
I think Torrent alone makes the class not boring.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy enough to say.
Oh, this class also has Giga status resist. So things like C-Val rock falling on your head, or what's another thing that's like status resist in early game? A pink bean like fucking making you sealed or something, right? Like it has like Giga status resist, so a lot of the debuffs that the bosses apply to you or stuns or something like that, they don't affect you as much. Like this thing has an absurd amount of status resist. Like I'm talking about, like most classes will have maybe like 50% status resist. This class has like almost 70%. Like that's a big difference. That's a very big difference in terms of like the duration of the debuffs. So it just feels really good to play too. So that's where I would put it. The thing with shade is like it straight up negates it. But this thing has high status resist. Like it's like a permanent state of like just status resist, whereas shade just negates it like outright.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think Aran still performs better than.
Think so? Okay, listen, I'm okay with that. I'm flexible.
Yeah. Just because like Aran is just a 90-second class.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why. I'm pretty sure Aran bursts harder than Pathfinder, and also Aran's off burst is probably a lot better too.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the nature of the 90-second. Also, Aran has class bind.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, can move on to Phantom. Yo, is Firmu here?
Unoptimal.
Now's your chance, bro. Yeah, this is definitely unoptimal. Not even trying to make jokes, by the way. Like, this shit keeps getting, like, shit on. Phantom, like, in every tier list, every, like, scenario. But it's not even, like, trying to be funny either. So the things that make Phantom really good are its really high DPS uptime and really good movement and survivability, right? And those things are very good, but it doesn't matter that much in early game bosses, because early game bosses, like, you don't need all these like tricks to like hit them. Like they kind of just like fucking sit there and you just hit them, or you just wait for them to appear and then you hit them. So it's not, so a lot of like the kit in Phantom that makes it like cool and fun, like just doesn't even matter in the early game bosses. And then partnered with the fact that it doesn't have a lot of damage output, there's only so much that it can do.
CD skip.
Mm-hmm.
Cooldown hat.
Yep. Big funding too.
Buff duration. For Final Cut.
Yep.
You don't have sudden rate on Phantom. You actually need Final Cut to have buff duration, or you pray you CD skip it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you gotta find people to steal skills from. You're playing menu story on Phantom.
Yep.
You're swapping between concentration and bullseye shot.
Yeah, this shit is not it. Straight up. Milia Ghoulies.
Alright, Shade.
I think Shade's one of the
Remastered.
best boss mules nowadays. The remaster Shade is crazy. I have one. The item burning. I recently did my bosses on it. It felt like AB. That's the best way that I could put it. It felt like AB, but easier and like more brain dead, essentially. Even though AB is easy itself, it just felt even more brain dead because you just don't die to anything on this class. Like, random bullshit just doesn't affect you on Shade. Like, you just could tank shit. The 1 minute burst is surprisingly very strong. Like, their 4th V skill, like the orange big punchy guy, that guy is very strong. And then you also have your 2 minute burst, the full map attack. And the one that makes you shit out a lot more dots. Yes, the backstep is super good. The movement's super good on this class. You also have split, which is like convenient. You have a class bind, but the class bind sucks. So like you just use regular bind, but you could use it in an emergency. I think it's so good. Like, I think 1 minute burst classes just have like the best formula for boss muling straight up. The iframe is good, yeah. The hyper skill. So for me, like, I think it's like probably right here. Or maybe actually right here.
I'm hyper burning a Shade, but I haven't touched it yet. I've been lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was also potentially planning on making it one of my 15 boss meals.
Chills, bro. The Gote 15.
Okay. But yeah, I've heard that essentially, the damage distribution of Shade is just completely different now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got like the balance changes expedited. The things that made like day one remastered Shade bad are pretty much not as prevalent now, I think. The burst is super condensed now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are bursting every minute, right? And
Yeah.
they also like normalize the cooldown of split. You just
Yeah,
split
it's just
every
1 minute now.
Yeah, that's super nice. And the visuals look crazy.
Yeah, it looks cool too. Now, the only thing is, I actually think this class could be pretty boring pretty quickly. For me personally. I just think it's so straightforward. Like,
But the visuals,
the visuals are really good though. Yeah, the visuals are sick. I just think it's like, I don't know. It's like really brain dead. That's the only thing. Okay. Gonna move on to Shad.
Shadower.
Chills, bro. Shad. I mean, what can I say, bro? Shad is definitely OPAF. I just don't know where in OPAF, but Shadower is broken as fuck. Like, especially with the latest changes that it just got. Trick Blade damage buff, SSF damage buff, Sonic Blow coming out faster. Like, I don't know, bro. This shit's so broken. Its consistent damage is really good. If you want to future-proof it, it's really good because it has very, very high efficiency with, like, low-level Hexa, level 1 Nate, and Meso Explosion. Like, it's crazy. Only thing I would say about Shad, gotta learn how to weave. But that's fine. There's so many weaving tutorials on YouTube. Like, it's not that bad. And at the end of the day, if you really can't do it, just use Siki keys. Like, it's still more than good enough for a boss meal. Like, just do that. It's not too hard to learn to know when to use Dark Sight, in my opinion. Like, you could just use Shadow Walker for your burst, Smoke for your 90, and then the Hyper for in between. Like, it's not that bad. I think, yeah, consistent damage super good. 3 minute burst is good. 90-second burst is good. 45-second burst with Sonic Blow is good. Very OP iframe with Trick Blade. You're iframed very frequently on the class. You have the best Dark Sight in the whole game because you have skills that could keep you in dark side while you're attacking. Other classes don't have that, or not to the same extent that Shatterer does, at least. So I think it's very, very good. If I were to put it somewhere, I'd probably put it right here.
Yeah, I think that makes sense there. I was thinking about like, would it be better than Buccaneer? And it's probably debatable, but Buccaneer is just so much easier to play, so it's probably just
that's what
probably
I was thinking.
behind Buck.
It's because Buck's easier to play. That's where I would put it. Yes, this video will be uploaded tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. All right, next up.
Shatterer definitely has a really good kit. I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but the Trick Blade is a really good iframe, but there are conditions to it. It's a conditional iframe. You have to get 3 wound stacks, which gets applied when you use 3 of your big hits on Assassinate. So it's 2 parts. The overhead dunk, that's the big part. You do 3 of those, and it applies wound debuff. And then that's when you use Trick Blade, which you would link with your either part of your Assassinate, because they changed that a while ago into Trick Blade.
You can use it with Sonic Blow too, to get out of it.
And this patch, Sonic Blow, right? The wind up time is like 50% faster now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the nodes are chill too. Like, it's just Assassinate, Missile Explosion, and the third one was... What was the third one?
Assassinate, Missile Explosion, and then the Hyper.
Oh, Shadow Veil?
Yeah, because then your only other options would be Cruel Step, Sudden Raid, and Dark Flare. Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow Veil make. All right, Thunderbreaker. Honestly,
Thunderbreaker's so good too.
Yeah, I think it's a very good angle minimum.
Yeah, no, very bare minimum, very good. I'm leaning towards OPAF. The only thing that would draw me back from this is it's a spammy class. Like, you're spamming 2 buttons constantly. Like, you're just like tapping your fucking keyboard a lot. So if you're somebody who, like, I don't know, has like wrist issues or something, like, you probably shouldn't play it. I'm not even saying that as like a meme. Like, if you ever talk to a Thunderbreaker, watch a Thunderbreaker stream, like, they're just fucking spamming their shit the whole time. Like, it's crazy. But in terms of movement, super good movement. Iframe, very good iframe with the whale, super low cooldown. Consistent damage is crazy on this. And then even future proofing is really good because their origin's really strong now.
I think one of the biggest issues I have about Thunderbreaker is that, so you're weaving between 2 skills as your main damage skill. You have like the Shark Punch, and then you have the Anchor Smash.
Yeah.
But during burst, there's this one buff that you pop that will make it so that
Typhoon.
it's optimal to use Typhoon instead. So it's like, that's why I find it annoying. You have to have 3 buttons in a convenient spot.
Yeah, you have to have 3 buttons that you're gonna potentially spam a lot. It's like that. I think that's like worth mentioning for sure. Like, maybe Thunderbreaker players watching this are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but like, a lot of people don't want to spam buttons, bro. If it wasn't very good, I think it outperforms every single one of the very good classes, though. It also has less funding requirement.
Does Thunderbreaker use CD hat?
No.
You're so confident. Are you sure? It's like, yeah.
I thought it didn't,
they
bro.
do?
I guess I'm
It
being.
does.
Nah, you guys are gaslighting me in chat, bro. You guys are fucking gaslighting me, bro.
Even Revy says you should.
Oh my god, what the fuck does Revy know, bro? I'm the best Thunderbreaker here.
True. Where's Lick in My Sack, dude? What's he got to say?
Wait, what? Who?
He's the better Thunderbreaker.
Wait, pause, bro. Who the fuck are you talking about? Who's Lick My Sack?
Yo, he's
Wait, what?
he's the premier Thunderbreaker.
Wait, who
Revy's
the,
old news.
who the hell is Lick My Sack? Oh, hell nah, bro.
He's a valid Thunderbreaker, trust.
Yo, Kenny, shut the fuck up. What do you mean this Tearless old dog, bro? Like, shut up, bro. You don't know shit about this game. You're a rinky-dink Nightwalker with a beat-to-shit merc, and you can't clear X Aran. Like, don't type, bro. Shut up. You don't know shit, bro. Stop.
Yeah, I think it's a very good. I don't know if it's at the top.
I think it outperforms all these guys. I'm not even trolling, and at least in very good for a mule. This thing's an OPS mule. I think it's OPAF, but if you want to put it in very good, I think it's at the top of very good.
Oh, I just don't know Thunderbreaker like that, honestly.
Dude, the thing is, like, I've talked to, I don't know, recently there's been an abundance of Thunderbreakers in my life for some reason recently, and they always just glaze the fuck out of the class. And like I've seen them play, and like literally the only thing that I have against it is that it's spammy. Like that's it. Like if you don't like a spammy class, then you're just not gonna like it.
Honestly, yeah, I mean, I think it is worth mentioning because you're going to be playing this thing every week.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is like a very good angle. I don't know.
It's really not that bad though. The thing is, you're used to it though. You know what I mean? You're used to it. You play Thunderbreaker, like you're used to it. But like, I feel like if let's say like somebody's watching this video and they're like not that experienced in the game, like it's definitely worth mentioning that it's spammy. Bro, you can't tell me it's not spammy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, it is, bro. It literally
it's all
is.
relative compared to all these classes.
It literally
that exist.
is. It literally is. What other class is more spammy than this shit? That you're pressing the same 2 buttons in a row? Maybe Blaster is more spammy. Like it's like because you're like a rhythmic like same few skills in a row. Like how compared to Cadena? Okay, Cadena could also be seen as spammy as well. Cadena is more whack-a-mole though. But like, bro, get on VC with any Thunderbreaker you ever meet and tell them like fucking turn their gain up on their mic, bro. And you'll know, bro. You'll know.
You'll just think that there's a fucking train in the background, dude.
Yeah. TP is entry class when it comes to spammy. Nah, this shit is. I'm firm on this. I may have been wrong on the cooldown hat department. That was just a test, by the way. I wanted to test you guys to see if you guys knew that I actually used a cooldown hat. Obviously, as a Cygnus Knight myself, you know, they actually call me Hawkeye Thunderbreaker. I knew that, but you
Where's
guys.
The accent?
I'm not doing the accent. I'm doing an American accent right now. Like this is not my default voice. You're like Walmart Hawkeye. Bro, okay, where are we putting this thing? We're spending too much time on this shit.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Top of very good.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Alright, Rinky Dink Wild Hunter is next. So I think Wild Hunter Blossom is actually not that bad, despite my hatred towards the class. I mean, it's legit not that bad. It has good 2-minute burst.
I think
they made its summon last for like a whole minute now, which is crazy.
It's a gets job done angle because its movement is so ass. You only have movement when you're on Jaguar.
I think they recently just made it so they could use their diagonal off Jag now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just did that. Like this patch.
I see.
You're not tapped into Wild Hunter like that? Saves money on buying Sayram Pot. You should still buy it. That shit's OP.
No, I don't think you need to buy on the Wall Hunter.
Why? It gives you boss and shit too. And attack. It gives you like flat attack. But just go next. No one playing this.
No, I think it's probably like gets job done. It's probably gets job done angle. There is a bit of a learning curve. Like you have a fucking like you fucking dismount. You're like, what the fuck? I have a second key, like hotkey. Like where the fuck this come from? Like
that's true, bro. That second like a bar of skills is mad intimidating, low key. This class feels bad to play.
I don't even know where to put it and gets job done. Honestly,
let's put it like
I really
right
don't.
Here, Legion block tier. Nah, you guys are foul in the chat, bro. You guys are actually so foul.
Wind Archer.
Dude, this shit is like might be the best in the whole game. Straight up.
Why? Because it can move now?
Yes, bro. And it got stronger. Low key. It might be the best in the whole game. Okay, let's talk about Wind Archer's pros, right? Very easy to play. Hurricane class, right? So it's just like attack speed is just like a non-issue. Emerald, so you have a dummy just like Marksman. It's like Marksman and BowMaster like put together. So you have a dummy that makes it so that
It's fucking Gogeta, dude.
yeah, it's Gogeta. It's literally Gogeta. So that you have the boss doesn't target you. You also have the Gale barrier, so that even if the boss does target you, you're not gonna get hit regardless. Like everything just misses you. And it's a beautifully animated class too. Like it's like a nice looking class, so it's like less boring than BowMaster. I think right now it's the best one in the whole game, straight up. Green Overload, you got purple in there too. The Trifling Wind.
Nah, I don't think this is higher than our AB, dude.
You don't think so?
I dead ass think AB is the best boss meal still.
I mean, I agree. AB's OP as fuck.
AB is so strong.
That shit's so broken. Can AB hit Damien in the air? Not with everything, no. Long story short, no. Mostly no. How does Wind Archer hit in there? You can't Hurricane in the air. You could throw NATOs though, right? Like that'll hit it. I see. Yeah, there's the Wind Walk on Wind Archer too. Dude, these two are like crazy, bro. These two are OP as fuck.
Nah, I'm pretty sure AB is just better. Every single boss you enter, you're always going to have Dragon Man.
Mighty Mascot. Dude, that's true. You could split bursts on Wind Archer. But AB has 1 minute burst. Like the cooldown's so low. Like you're gonna have it every time, regardless. Dude, this is a hard one. I don't know. I see both angles. They're both so broken. Like they're both so good. Dude, I don't know, bro. This is a tough one. They're both so good. Dude, I think Wind Archer might be better now, bro. Low key.
No.
For 220? I don't know, bro. Santo plays Soraka top, bro? What? Should make one to prove it. No, I have other plans. I'm making a DB, bro.
Alright, fuck it, bro. Xenon.
Okay, let's continue. Guys, it doesn't matter. Just play these two and they're both broken as fuck. It literally doesn't matter. Xenon, I mean, this is unoptimal as fuck. This is probably the worst one in the whole game. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that simple. It's just like the worst in the whole game. So for those who don't know, Xenon's like a burst class. A top burst actually isn't the worst thing in the world, but I mean the fun requirement is just way too high for it to really get the ball rolling, especially at 220. Like, come on now, let's be honest here. There's no way you're getting the most out of this class at 220. This is a like 260 plus character only, essentially. You have anything to say about it?
Nope. I guess
Yeah.
to explain why even further, it's similar to Bishop where this class just needs a lot of stats to scale up. Its off burst isn't that bad as you said, because it has the, I don't remember what it's called, but the freaking targeting thing, or just like highlights the character. It's like the weak points or whatever. And yeah, like you're pretty much, every time you do have your burst, I think you're just overkilling it. Like every boss you do 220 on this character, you're probably just overkilling it.
Yeah. That's true, actually. It's a good point. Yeah, I would not recommend this. This is like the worst. This is like the worst one, straight up, for 220 boss meal. Alright, you want to move on to 0?
Yep.
Okay, so the thing about 0 is it's actually really strong right now, right? 2-minute class. Really strong 2-minute class at the moment. But there's a learning curve. Like, you're going to want to learn how to play 0. That's the only thing I could say that's like maybe a bit of a downside. Class can't die, has broken ass movement and iframes, and has 2 health bars. There's like animation canceling with this shit too. So there's just like a learning curve to 0. But if you do learn the class, it's a very, very good, strong boss meal. You have to do the storyline though, right? Like that's like the big thing. You don't even have to just do the, I think you have to do the entire storyline too. Like if you want to play it. I don't think 120, or correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think you should do the 220 if you do if you want like to make the most out of your 0, right? 2 sets of genitalia. Yeah, true. I see, okay. I don't know, I feel like the story quest alone, the thing is like it's not the same as like Lynn with the link skill, right? Like 0 Legion block is really good, and I do think that it's like a mandatory thing that people get. But like, hey, myself included, like I did not bother getting this. Because, like, the 0 story at the start is such a turnoff. Imagine telling someone you have to go through a 2-hour story just to, like, be free, essentially. Like, no one wants to do that shit. There's people that are 285 plus that still don't have, a 0 block just because they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you're probably going to want to complete it to make the most out of your 0 too. So, honestly, like, I think it's unoptimal. Just because of the story, bro.
Yeah, I think so. But something to mention though is for anyone that's willing to make a 0, I think a really good tip that was given to me for anyone that was willing, like looking to like main it or like make it as a boss meal or like take it far. It's better for you to like over level it and then so that you get a lot of the skills unlocked and then go back to doing the story. That's what I've been told. Because if you're doing a story with not all the skills unlocked, it's really, really a bad time from what I've been told.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely an unoptimal angle. It's just right next to. That's probably, yeah. Right there you go.
All right, so the last thing that we need to talk about, it's actually I have bossing soon, but the last thing we need to talk about is we need to re-examine Illium. We need to re-examine Illium because we said for Lynn that because you're gonna get the Lynn link skill, the story doesn't matter. Like everybody's gonna go through it anyways. Like it's not like an optional thing. Now, in my opinion, I think the Illium link skill is mandatory as well, especially for training. So the same thing could be said about Illium. That like the story aspect doesn't really matter. Like you're gonna have to go through it anyways. So I feel like it would just be very good then. Just swap Illium and Wild Hunter. No one will notice. Illium Link not mandatory after Janus. Yeah, but like people when you're starting out this game, you want damage. Like you're gonna go through the Illium Link to get it. Would you have even gotten to the point where you don't need Illium Link without Illium Link? You know what I mean? Yes? Easily. Okay, you say that as like a herb. You know what I mean? Put yourself in the mindset of a not herb. Bro, most people don't even finish their hyper burns. Oh, Illium, bro. I'm about to become an Illium op, bro, so I can just say fuck this class and put it wherever I want. Sticky key class. Guys, where should we put it? Be honest in chat. Where should we put it, bro? Gets job done. Fuck Illium because of spammy gameplay. Mandatory Link OP as fuck. It's very good. People just bitches go fuck them. Illium's very spammy. Watch the VOD. Need to correct you. Thunderbreaker does use cooldown hat. Yo, Christy, like, I hate you, bro. Alright, tell me, where do you think we should put Illium? I'm done with this shit, bro. You make the final choice. It's on your hands, bro. The blood.
Let me tell you something, okay? The people who followed like link skill guides or whatever, and they saw that Illium was a recommended link skill. The thing is, they don't know anything better. They don't know better.
Okay.
Right? They're like, damn, like this link skill better be that good if I have to do this fucking 1 to 30 tutorial and then level it to 210.
No,
or
only
is it,
120.
Or is it just 120? Okay. Yeah, well, there you go, dude. Like, same shit. But like, they don't have the context of the entire game to understand that you can definitely get by without having to do Illium Link. I feel like where it is right now makes sense, man.
Okay, I'll just leave it here then. Fine. Fine. Alright, guys, be honest. W or L tier list for level 220 boss meals in 2025, bro. End of the year, coming into the next year.
Oh, here comes soon out of the woodworks.
Yeah, it's absolutely rubbish. Yup. LLL. You guys don't know shit, bro. L because make whatever you want. What? I'm just talking about facts only, bro. This tier list is trash. Bro, you don't know anything about this game. You don't know every single game. You have 20,000 hours on League and Maple, and you're ass at both games. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? How do you play both games so much and you're ass at both of them, bro? Motherfucker, you sat there with a straight face and Night Lord is Loki better than Merc. Yes, Loki is better than Merc. I have both of them, and they both also, they're both ass. Like, I don't know why you're comparing two garbage cans with each other. That's the first thing. Like, they're literally both ass boss meals, and you shouldn't do either of them. I've done both of them, and the Night Lord is a little bit better. It is a little bit better. You are so stupid. Bro, if I'm stupid, that makes you a fucking rock, bro. You don't even have a brain, bro. You're just a rock sitting there, bro. New tier above OPAF for Lara. True. Look at cutscene skip and Wild Hunter Paw on all mules makes this entire list stupid. You dumb as hell. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? How does that have to do with anything? Nah, I'm being rage baited. I don't go fuck. You don't exist anymore. I'm being rage baited. All good, bro. All good, bro. All good. All right, this is me and Tummy's official level 220 boss meal tier list. I think it's really good. I think if you pick anything in OPAF and very good, you're gonna have a really good time on this game. I think if you play Gets Job Done, there's probably some like things that you gotta know that don't make it like annoying. And then unoptimal, I think all these boss meals would just be annoying to play straight up. They're just annoying. That's it. There's so many in OPAF. Are there any you'd place in another tier? I would say Wind Archer and AB and BowMaster and Shade. Like these 4 would probably be in their own tier as like the best of the best. I'd say these 4. But like, I'm just gonna keep them all together. I think it's a good thing that there are so many good options. That's the way I look at it. I look at it as like, it's really good that over half the classes are valid, totally good options. You have so many like, it's very flexible on what you could do. I have all of the unoptimal ones. Yeah, I'm posting this tomorrow. 0 min burst class. Nah, you a TB like Glazer, bro. Stop. You're just a TB Glazer. How is Lumi unoptimal? Because it has low damage and long cooldowns and too much micromanaging. That's why. I have to get ready for bossing, but I also have to really use the bathroom. I've been holding it in. How can Kaiser be very good, but Lumi DPM is unoptimal? Because because Kaiser's way easier to play, and its DPS curve is way more consistent than Lumi's. That's why. Most fun bossing meals in your opinion? Oh, that's like a whole different list, yeah. All right, I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. If Tummy, you go, thank you so much, bro, for helping me. And also, check out Tummy's channel. And thank you, everybody, for watching this video. And let me know what you think is the most egregious pick if you made it all the way to the end. Thank you so much to my members, Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Piconeer, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, J, Blunt Poppy Supreme Oil Backwards, and Uju. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you to everybody who submitted fan art. It is so wonderful to see. If you ever want to submit anything, there's a fan art channel in my Discord. And thank you guys so much for watching.